Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Your weekly dose of romance and drama has arrived. Season 29 of The Bachelor is here, and Grant Ellis, certified hottie and former day trader, is trading his day job on Wall Street for a second chance at everlasting love. New episodes drop every Monday at 8/7 Central, bringing you fresh twists in Grant's journey to find his soulmate. This self-proclaimed mama's boy is all grown up and ready to invest his heart. Will his playful charm win over the house full of hopefuls, or will the competition prove too intense? From heartfelt moments to adrenaline-pumping dates, each week brings new surprises in the mansion. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken heart? Tune in every Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu for new episodes of The Bachelor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, again for joining us on another wild, crazy episode of Crime and Sports, episode 439. We are pumping them out. Yes, we are coming very close to the 1,000-episode mark between Small Town Murder and Crime and Sports.
Hell?
So we'll make a big deal out of that, whichever turns out to be the 1,000th episode. But this week, we have... this might be the worst person we've ever had on Crime and Sports.
Is that right?
Definitely the most vicious... bloodthirsty person we've ever had on Crime and Sports. Barely an athlete. That's the fun part. This is not a lot of sports in this one at all. This is just violence, and then
For no reason.
a little bit more violence on top, just for the shit of it. Yeah. So
a lot of these guys do the violence or whatever the hell they're doing because there's hubris involved with being an elite level athlete.
No. This is hubris involved with being the most badass guy in Philadelphia is what this is. I want to be the most vicious drug dealer in Philadelphia. This guy makes Marlo look like a pussy. Like,
Jesus.
He makes Marlo look soft. Like, he's fucking rough from The Wire. So we'll get to all of that and more. Before we do that, though, definitely check out shutupandgivememurder.com. Tour dates coming out. If you're listening to this the minute it comes out early, tomorrow on December 17th. Awesome. If you're listening to this when it comes out regularly, the tour dates are out. The tickets are on sale. Buy them. For Small Town Murder. Get them right now. Do that. Also, check out Patreon. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports is where you get all of the bonus material. Tons of it. Anybody $5 a month or above. You get hundreds of back episodes you've never heard of Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder immediately upon subscription. Then you get new ones every other week, one Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you just get them all. We'll just give them all to you. Just take them. Take it all, damn it. Everything we got. And for this week, what you're going to get for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about, we've done this before years ago on an episode, but we're going to do it again and do it with different ones. Sports songs, anthems,
these guys.
Think Super Bowl Shuffle, and things like that. But there's so many that are so less famous, and I want to talk a little bit about Macho Man's rapping. We got a lot to talk about with that. It's going to be hilarious. We'll listen to songs. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about remote viewing, which was this crazy thing. It's sort of a psychic thing, but more kind of pointed. It's like the CIA thought, well, if we get people in a room and have them concentrate hard enough, they can see what terrorists are doing in caves 10,000 miles away.
Great.
It's hilarious. We'll get into all of that. And when there's guys that swear by it, they can swear they've done it. It's crazy shit. We'll talk all about that. Patreon.com/CrimeInSports. So get that right now. That said, let's get right into this, shall we? Let's do this. We have just a guy whose name fits him perfectly this week.
Okay.
Kaboni Savage is his name.
Kaboni.
Kaboni. Kaboni. Kaboni.
I love that.
Sounds like some sort of Italian meat. Like a let me get a soprasette.
Yeah.
Let me get some salami. Let me get a half pound of the Kaboni. All right, good. I would know the hot Kaboni. The hot.
Yeah.
Not the that's the one. Yeah, with the seeds in it. So
like a Haitian gangster.
Kaboni Savage. He's got some nicknames like Yusef Billa and Joseph Emil and Bonnie, because that's Kaboni.
Sure. Yeah.
So Bonnie, he's the most vicious Bonnie in the history of the world. Fuck Bonnie and Clyde. This
he's get himself a Clyde.
He just knocked Bonnie and Clyde's Bonnie down to second place of most vicious Bonnie ever to exist. He
Even
really
Billy
did.
knew that was a bad last name.
Bad, not good. So this is Kaboni Savage, born January 1st, 1975.
Okay.
So born
fairly young man.
New Year's guy. Yeah, that's what I mean. The amount of carnage in this guy's wake for 49 years is he's well beyond his 49 years here.
Very impressive.
He's from Philadelphia, born, raised, jailed, fucking murders, everything in Philadelphia. Yeah, because he's not a famous athlete that goes around and does anything. He stays in Philly because he's a drug dealer and a murderer. That's his main occupation. And he went to Frankfurt High School. I'm sure he did very well there. Was probably in the Glee Club, I imagine. Maybe a cheerleader, something of that nature. He's got some kids we'll talk about. His mother's name is Barbara. We'll talk about her. And she is, in the lead so far as we get to these episodes.
Oh.
She is in the lead for a Golden Gilretho Award.
Barb's a kind, forgiving mom, huh?
But no, Barb does not see reality.
Oh, delusional.
Barb can hear a wiretap of her son talking about how he viciously murdered someone in detail and go, he didn't do nothing, he's a good boy. That's what she says. It's fucking crazy. And his sister Kadada we'll talk about too, because she's, just a notch worse.
Kadada and Kaboni?
Kadada and Kaboni. Yes. And
where's it Kaboni?
It's Kaboni, I think, because he goes by Bonnie. So I'm going to say Kaboni. Kaboni and Kadada. And Kadada is like one click almost as bad as Kaboni. So, it's really, really close. They're not good people here. Don't know anything about his dad. And don't know a ton about his youth life as well, because we never get like that fluff piece in college of, he's from here and he did that. And now he's leading our Golden Wildcats to another, none of that shit. So the thing we do know is he went to Frankfurt High School, and he was a boxer as a kid, actually. Somebody got him in a gym and tried to take him off the streets.
Utilize that anger.
To me, this is very much like if you've seen The Wire. This is like, he's like Michael, basically.
Yeah, keep him busy.
Michael's the character that could box and was pretty good, and Dennis Wise, Cuddy was trying to teach him and all that shit, but he just kept going back out, and the street got him, and then he ended up being the new Omar after that. That's kind of what this is. Seems like somebody got him in the gym, but it didn't quite stick enough, which is weird too. He went to the Front Street Gym in North Philadelphia, and later even attended a boxing camp run by Don King. So
is that right?
Yes. So the amount of bodies in that fucking room
unbelievable
is incredible. He was a junior welterweight. He had a quick left jab. As an amateur, he was 15-0.
Oh,
yeah, he was a good fighter. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter. He's vicious as shit. So it makes sense.
Fuck, yeah.
Yeah, he's a junior welterweight, not a big guy at all. Was that 147 or something? 141. It's 140. It's in that range here. His sister Kadada said he was smooth and quick. That's about his as a boxer. He's also smooth and quick as a drug trafficker as well.
Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. He started his drug trafficking career. Let's give the stats here, like it's his fucking sports career. But he started out, selling for other people, as you do.
Sure.
You think about it. That's how you're going to start out.
You can't get in and start moving weight.
No, not at all. Yeah, you got to sell for people. You learn the game a little bit. Yeah. Then by the early 90s, though, he's 16, 17, he started dealing PCP on his own.
Oh, attaboy.
He figured that
you
out.
Corner of the market or something.
That's it. He's like, everybody's selling crack, heroin. Yeah. I'm going to be the PCP guy. When people think Kaboni Savage, I want them to think good PCP. That's what I want. Yeah. So
when people think about a zombie in the middle of a Philadelphia street, I want them to go, I know where he got it.
That you could shoot with an elephant gun and they'd get back up. I want them to go, that looks like Kaboni's work. That's what I want.
It seems like him, yeah.
It seems like what he would do. He operates out of his mother's house, which is also very nice.
You have to.
You want to sell as many drugs as you can out of mom's house. You don't want to.
Well, until you get a storefront, you gotta go to the garage.
You got to start. That's right. You know what? You got to do it out of the garage. Bill Gates did it, and now we're all going to do it too. That's how it works here. So this was on Darien Street in North Philadelphia. Before long, he was Mr. PCP.
Wow.
He was Philly's PCP man, and he sold it all over the place to everybody. He was a distributor at that point. So he PCP. And he also sold a little weed on the side, but I guarantee you that was just because he liked to smoke weed, probably. He's like, I don't do this PCP shit, but I will smoke weed. He ends up utilizing a lot of the drug dealers and kind of bringing them into under his umbrella.
Okay.
Takes over corners, essentially, is what he does. Yeah. He goes around, takes over the drug corners, and for a little time, he's in a partnership distributing crack cocaine. But a guy like this doesn't like having partners, as we'll talk about.
He's not going to last long.
Or mentors, also, as we'll find out. Yeah, he's not very trustworthy. You don't want to show this guy your tricks. He will use them against you. It's not good. Yeah. Finally, though, July 7th, 1997, so he's 22 years old, he makes his professional boxing debut.
Really?
Makes his professional boxing debut against a guy named Ahmed Lamb, which you don't want to name you're a boxer, you don't want to be Lamb. And it's spelled like Lamb, too, like a lamb. That's not if you're Lamb and you're fighting a guy named Savage, who are you taking just based on the names?
Probably not the Lamb.
Not the Lamb.
Like it's being led to slaughter.
Yeah. Isn't that like they say, the Lamb, someone very nice.
It's always a sacrificial.
Yeah, it's a sacrificial lamb. This is Ahmed Lamb's.
It's dinner.
It's exactly Ahmed Lamb's debut as well as Kaboni Savage's debut here. This is at the Claridge Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, so not too far from his home in Philly, though. And this is a first-round TKO for Kaboni.
Hell yeah.
So he wins his first fight. Ahmed Lamb goes on to be 0-4 in his career. So I think the name said it all there, really.
Yeah, sacrificial 4 times.
He got sacrificed 4 times to better fighters. So anyway, Kaboni's 1-0 as a professional boxer. And I'm going to say it now, grace. That's grace.
Uh-oh.
That's it. That's also the end of the sports segment of our show.
Fantastic.
This is going to be a 2-parter, and there is no more sports. It's all crime.
Wow.
Yes, so this is fun. So I don't want to hear anybody a couple weeks from now we do somebody and there's a little more sports and they're going to go, there's not a lot of crime in that one. Well, guess what? You're getting it all in this one. Balance it the fuck out.
Here. Yeah.
What do you want from us? We'll take every month and do it out that way.
I can't map their lives.
I can't make people do crimes either. That's the other thing. I can't make them do more crimes. I can't. I would love to, but I can't. So by the late 90s, now he is really becoming his own man. He's good. He's got a boxing win under his belt, and he's also got a lot of wins on the street as well. He was running at the time doing 5 to 10 kilos at a time of coke is what he's selling.
Wow.
So selling weight now. Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a shitload of coke. Yeah. That's a distributor. He's selling that shit to, distributing, making for weight, basically. That's it.
That's fun to be able to sing rap songs and live it. Have it all be like a biography. That's kind of cool.
That's fun, but he has no time for rap. That's the thing. No. That's the problem. If you're a really good drug dealer, you don't rap. Because you don't have time to do that shit.
If he's driving around, he could pop in anybody's tracks and rap along with it. Well, and it works out.
He's the real guy. He's the guy the rappers would be like, "Oh shit, that's Kaboni."
Man.
That's don't fuck with him. You know what I mean? That's the guy that you'd hang out with to get street cred type of shit. So that's what he's doing. March 19th, 1998. Okay, Kaboni here. He's in the vicinity of a drug corner of a competitor of his, a guy named Tybius Flowers.
Okay.
So this is Tiberius's corner, motherfucker, right here. So there's a guy near this drug corner driving by the name of Kenneth Lassiter, and he accidentally bumps into Kaboni's car.
Uh-oh.
A minor accidental fender bender.
Still.
Okay.
My car.
Anyway, so a confrontation obviously ensues.
Indeed.
Kaboni takes this as a sign of disrespect, much like when Bubbles' cart ran into Marlowe's SUV. Much like that sort of thing.
That was a problem.
Savage demanded that this guy pay for the damage that he caused.
Oh.
This guy said, I'll do whatever you want. Sure, I apologize, 100% my bad. Like, this guy wasn't like, fuck you and your car. He was like, you're totally right. My
I'm
fucking
insured.
bad.
We're good.
My bad. I'll pay for
You're
it.
in good hands.
He said, totally my fault.
Yeah.
Then Savage, and this is according to a witness, quote, pulled a gun out and shot him once.
Oh, no.
After the man apologized. This is for bumping into his car.
And agreed I'll fix it.
Yeah, he didn't, punch his girlfriend. He didn't try to steal his money. He didn't take his drug corner. This is for bumping into his car. Imagine if you fuck with this man's money, what he'll do.
Yeesh. Yeah.
So this is crazy. Lassiter dies from the gunshot wound.
Murder.
Straight murder. We are 14 minutes into this thing, and we already have a murder.
We got a body.
We already have a straight, just shot a man in the street in front of witnesses. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
He thinks he's so badass
no reason.
on the street that he's not even afraid if people see him do this because they're afraid of him and they won't say shit. So that's crazy. Flowers, the guy who runs that drug corner, Tiberius, he saw the murder, witnessed the whole thing, saw everything. So September of 1999, Kaboni is arrested in connection with the Lassiter killing, which makes sense. He did it on the street. So when cops entered the apartment where Savage was living, they found shitloads of equipment to process and compress cocaine. So basically, the Goodfellas, what they got out of Sandra's apartment, that's or Sandy's apartment. That's what we're talking about. All that shit.
He's a 25-year-old man.
Oh yeah, he's got a whole system in his house set up here. So now, as this goes on, a year later, he's under house arrest at his home. Somehow, he got out of jail for a shooting and having tons of coke equipment in his house. Somehow he's out.
That seems like a life sentence kind of thing.
He continued to deal drugs, though, instead. Just acted like that shit didn't happen.
Well, that's his job. Yeah.
He got to make a living, Jimmy. Yeah. A cooperating witness told the FBI that during this period and into the fall of 2000, he supplied Savage with between 160 and 200 kilos of coke in 6 months. 200 keys in 6 months.
My God.
Holy shit. He said the price that time ranged between $24,000 and $30,000 a key. Kaboni was paying for that. So do the fucking math. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, that's a couple million. That's millions of dollars, right?
And then once you break it up and step on it and shit, he is making a fucking killing.
$5 million.
Kaboni, yep. So Savage and others would cut and dilute. And they'd fucking they'd step on it and recompress the kilos of cocaine, and then that's what they would do. So they'd sell it to like mid-level guys.
Right.
They'd sell it to a guy who runs a corner, basically.
Yep.
So, he's doing all this. His profit margins are soaring at this point.
Wow.
He has a right-hand man.
Always does.
And so this guy, it's not going to end well with him, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is a monster, and he's going to go nowhere.
It's going to be tough. Right-hand man, his name is Eugene Coleman.
What's his nickname?
We'll hear a lot about him. Right now, we won't worry about that. But later on, we'll talk about his shit. Don't worry. So Coleman would help. He was a helper. He would take the coke to people. He was that sort of guy.
The go-between.
And yes, he's the guy who would drive up to whoever the fuck, he'd drop it off because Kaboni can't be in. He can't be in the car. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He's the UPS man.
He also had enforcers. I mean, just imagine. He's got Weebay. He's got Stinkum. He's got fucking.
He's got them all there.
I really hope everybody's seen The Wire who listens to this, because otherwise it's going to be very. We're going to make a lot of references because it really is very similar here and going on at pretty much the same exact time as The Wire was happening too. It's the Wire in real time with worse people. So September 6th, 2000, there's a guy named Mansour Abdullah. Okay. Mansur, M-A-N-S-U-R, Mansur Abdullah. And he is part of the Savage family, quote unquote. He's part of the crew of, this little network here. And I guess, he was part of it. And Savage, I guess, first taught Abdullah how to fucking step on the coke and process it and do all that shit, right? That was, he brought him in and fucking schooled him and all this shit.
Showed him his ways, yeah.
So this is wild. He originally had taught him how to do that. So now, basically, if these two kind of supply each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if Kaboni's got, if he needs some, then Abdullah will fucking sell him some for whatever cost, and then they'll do it to each other. He'll give him back the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they do. But because Savage was the one who taught Abdullah how to do this and taught him all the tricks of how to fuck people over and shit like this, Kaboni can't get it out of his head that Abdullah is fucking him over and overcharging him because he taught him how to do it. So he said he's probably doing it to me too because I told him how to do it.
Yeah, he knows how.
He knows how. So in September 2000, Abdullah went over to Savage's place to get money that Savage owed him. Not in a mean way. It was just, meet me for the money.
Popping in, yeah.
So Savage paid him with cash. Kaboni paid him with cash. That was in a red sneaker box. He then directed a guy named Kareem Bluntly to accompany Abdullah back to his house. Basically, go with him so nobody robs him because he's got, probably
a lot of
tens of thousands of dollars in cash in a fucking shoebox. So, and he said there's also been a lot of robberies lately, so do that.
Right,
so
and it's fascinating. Why don't you just put that in a Coach bag? Like, people will steal your shoes that are in a bag or a box for sure. And if they grab
a red
box,
Nike box, and
it happens to have cash instead,
even
that's
better.
Hell of a come up.
I was going to try to sell these shoes anyway. So, fucking middleman cut out.
Shit.
So now I can buy shoes. This is much better. So then afterwards, I guess, Coleman, remember Eugene Coleman, his buddy there, his right-hand man, he's supposed to pick up Kareem Bluntly after he, safely escorts this Mansour Abdullah back to his house here. So Coleman and Bluntly return a half hour later, and Bluntly handed Savage back the red sneaker box with the cash inside.
He thought better of taking your cash.
I dropped him off and got your money back too. So
he tipped me for the ride.
Yeah, the thing is, that's because Savage had told Bluntly to shoot Abdullah once they got back to where they were going.
Obviously, yeah.
So he said, I did shoot Abdullah. I did that, got that part done, but I'm not sure if he's dead or not.
He may just be sitting there.
Which is pretty much the point of shooting somebody is...
It's not to send a message.
You just did. That's like saying I made dinner, but I didn't serve it. Well, great. That doesn't really...
I made dinner, but I didn't eat it.
I didn't eat it or feed it to anybody else. It's sitting on the stove right now.
On the stove.
So Savage told Coleman, his right-hand man, will you find out if this fucking guy is dead or not? Jesus Christ. So Coleman said, okay, and he later confirmed that he saw Abdullah, quote, keeled over in his car. I saw him in his car. Looked real dead. And he was dead, so that's good. The medical examiner determined the cause of death is multiple gunshot wounds to the head, chest, and abdomen.
That'll do it.
Didn't know if he's dead or not. I shot him everywhere where there's vital organs multiple times, but I'm not sure if he's dead or not.
I didn't take a pulse.
Nope, he could have been Tupac here. We're not sure. He could be fucking hanging on. So in June of 2001, the authorities seized 5 kilos of coke and about $350,000 in cash and drug-related assets.
Wow.
From a home of an individual identified as a Savage associate in the drug business.
He knows, yeah.
So he knows a lot of shit. So this is what I mean. Once one person gets arrested, then it gets very dangerous that other people are going to...
That's a precarious house of cards.
That's when people start killing each other and all that kind of thing. September 13th, 2001. So 2 days after 9/11 we're talking about.
Right, yeah.
Think about what the whole country is focused on here.
Across the fucking river from here.
Yeah, it's not far away.
They can smell it.
Shit is still like locked down. Like,
Yeah.
I worked at the ballpark in Phoenix, and we still weren't allowed to go to the ballpark yet because they
Right.
still had security concerns and all that kind
It's
of shit.
still on fire.
It's still on fire. So there's a guy named Carlton Brown whose nickname, which he would probably reconsider 2 days earlier, is Muhammad. Right. Carlton sounded much better right now than just to, when I go somewhere and they go, "What's your name?" It's just easier to say Carlton right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be mad at me for Carlton.
There's like 13 guys, and like 4 of them had this name.
Yeah, this is bad stuff. And the rest of them were yelling it as the planes hit the... So it's not good. Don't want to be that right this minute. So Carlton Brown, 27 of Darien Street in Philadelphia, was killed here. Another victim of multiple gunshot wounds to the head and chest. Now, Brown was a member of Savage's crew, but Savage had suspected old Carlton Brown of killing Savage's friend, Ronald Walston. So Savage told one of his guys that he had to do it, meaning kill this guy, and he did. This guy, Lewis is this guy's last name, who did the murder, and he did it. He murdered him, and the guy died. So
we got 3 bodies, and he still hasn't gone to jail for the first one.
Still hasn't gone to jail for the first one. He was arrested for it and is under house arrest for all that, but he's still ordering more murders. This is what I mean. He's literally under arrest for murder, and he's still having more murders happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Has to happen. February 26th, 2003 now. Okay. Barry Parker, who's 32, he's killed on February 26, 2003 in the 3900 block of North Franklin Street in Philadelphia. Lewis was the guy that's, Savage's hitman. Yeah. He is the guy who killed Barry Parker at Savage's direction.
Okay.
Apparently, Parker made the mistake of trying to overtake some other guy's drug corner, a guy named Stephen Northington, who was selling shit that he got from Savage. So he can go to Savage and ask for help, this guy. So he does. This Northington guy went and complained to Kaboni, and Kaboni said that, quote, he said, "This guy's trying to take my drug corner." And this is the quote from Kaboni, quote, "Nobody come and take nothing. You have to handle your business. This is what we do." Nobody's taking shit. You got to kill that motherfucker is what he said. So apparently Lewis left Kaboni's house with this Northington guy, acting like everything was cool. And Lewis then eliminated the Northington guy by shooting Parker several times in the chest. So helping Northington out. Here, Northington gets his drug corner back. So this is what's going on here. Even
Turf
people
wars.
who are fucking with people he knows, he's like, well, just kill them. His first Band-Aid is murder. That's
Eliminate.
the thing. That's it. There's no, I'll take an Advil first before I go to the emergency room. It's immediate murder. That's all. There's no other penalty with this guy.
Yeah.
It's either you're his buddy or he murders you. That's it. One of the two. And if you're his buddy, he still might murder you, as we found out from the guy.
You don't know.
You never know.
If you're his buddy, he may suspect you of needing to be murdered.
Yep. Another thing he hates is informers. He hates cooperators a lot.
Of course.
Doesn't like a rat. So in March of 2003, he thought that a guy named Tyrone Tolliver, who was Coleman, his right-hand man, that's Coleman's like one of his good buddies, he decided, Savage did, that Coleman, that Tyrone Tolliver was a snitch.
Okay.
He's a snitch here.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit,
At the time, I was paranoid.
threats,
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
and murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Apparently, this Tolliver guy had difficulty. He was supplying somebody with coke and didn't have enough, so he went to Savage to get more to fill this order, right? So Savage said, well, I don't have any coke available right this minute, like on me, but I can help you here. So he tells Coleman to take Tolliver to Coleman's apartment, where they now have their kind of distribution, their processing center there.
Yeah.
It's not in Kaboni's house anymore because, he's on house arrest. So, I said, take him over to your house and hook him up. So apparently this Bluntly guy, one of his shooters, he arrived at the apartment shortly afterwards. And Coleman didn't even know what the hell was going on, apparently. He didn't even know. He thought he was supplying this guy with cocaine.
Yeah.
He didn't realize this was going to happen, but Savage set it up, so Bluntly went over and shoots Tolliver in the head.
God damn.
And then he told Bluntly and Coleman to dispose of the body as well.
Yeah, get rid of this.
Get rid of this. Yeah, don't leave it in your apartment. That'd probably be bad. So it's a lot. Now, according to Savage, what he told other people, this served two purposes for him.
One,
not only did he get to kill this guy who was doing shit he didn't like, but he said it also allowed him to, quote, put some dirt on Coleman as well.
Oh.
So now Coleman, he's got a murder rap that he knows about. So this allows him, now Coleman can't flip on him because he's got a murder rap on him. That's essentially, it's essentially what it is. If we all do the worst things possible, then we can't tell on each other because we're all doing that. No one can say, well, he's selling coke. It's like, well, he's a murderer. Fuck him. You know what I mean?
It sounds like Kaboni is very unaware of how immunity works.
He doesn't get anything here at all. But in his mind, we're all, no one's going to believe.
We all need immunity, so.
No one's going to believe any of us, so fuck it type of thing. Meanwhile, anyone that cooperates is getting a deal. So Coleman knew a lot about Savage's operation, obviously, here, and that everybody thought that, here's a quote that from somebody, everybody thought Coleman was weak, and if he got into some trouble, he would rat.
Okay.
So everybody thought that he would fucking flip if he got into a little trouble.
Link.
He's a weak link here. That's why he wanted to put some murder on him.
Needed him to murder,
Makes him a little less flippable now. So, because plus if someone's testifying against you, it's one thing if they sold coke, but if they have murder raps on them too, the jury's less likely to believe them and think that they're just trying to get out from under a murder rap. So, he also, Savage with Lewis and two other guys, they made a big pact here. Big pact, blood oath here. Let's sit around the campfire and fucking prick our fingers here.
Drag a knife across everybody's palm.
They agreed that if any one of them cooperated with law enforcement, they made like ground rules here that, quote, our mothers' lives would be in danger. So basically they made a pact with each other that if anybody rats, their mother is dead, and we all agree to that. So by making this pact, you're saying I won't rat, swear on my mother, basically.
Got it.
Yeah. And that's how that goes. So, in 2004, the prosecution for that first murder finally comes forward. The Lassiter guy? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Kaboni is jailed awaiting trial, and he just continues to intimidate and threaten people from jail, and he just runs his empire from jail. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Especially ones he suspects of working with the government. Number one, The eyewitness to this murder is Tiberius Flowers, the guy who had the drug corner who witnessed this murder, and he is the prosecution's main witness.
Oh, he is so dead.
And he is basically the only thing tying him to this murder. It's this guy.
Boy.
They have nothing else. So, Kaboni, I'm sure, was smart enough to throw the gun away and shit like that. Yeah. So Savage here, he tells his buddy Lewis, who's also in jail, obviously, that he's not worried about Flowers testifying. And the guy said, why is that? And he said, he'll never make it to court. Yeah. He made similar remarks to another criminal, another prisoner with him in there, saying that, no, I don't fuck that guy. Because they're like, yo, you got an eyeball witness? That's fucked up. And they were like, he goes, fuck him. I don't care about his eyeballs.
Because, his eyeballs are about to come out.
He ain't going to fucking make it. So Savage's, he knew what he was talking about because Flowers end up being killed by just a multiple gunshot wound sprayed with bullets as he sat in his car outside his aunt's house the night before the first day of trial.
Oh, my God.
The day before the trial, he is absolutely just fucking overwhelmed with bullets while sitting outside somebody's house. That is fucking wild, man.
That's fucked up.
It's ballsy, too.
Yeah.
It's obvious. I mean, he's not even trying to hide it. It's blatant.
Yeah, and not even just that, but it's like it's clearly there he goes. Make sure he doesn't leave.
That's it. There he goes. We know where he's going to be. Now, his buddy Northington later told a fellow prisoner that he hated snitches, and he said that he had, quote, slumped Flowers and sent him to rat heaven. I slumped his ass, which that is slang I've never heard before, which is saying something because I really look into this shit.
I've never heard it either, and I've listened to a lot of 90s aggressive rap.
Yeah, and watched The Wire and saw it. Slumped him, sent him to rat heaven.
Rat heaven.
Wow, that sounds like something a gangster would say in the 50s. I sent him into rat heaven, see?
I've heard slept him.
Filled him full of lead. Now he's in rat heaven.
And you know what he did. It's
You know
slumped
what I mean? You know
exactly what happened.
Slumped over. Yeah, that's how they always describe every gangster being killed in a car as being found slumped over in his car. Yeah. So that's how it works. Holy shit. And Savage also told this fellow prisoner, saying that he, quote, spanked the case and he's going to get out of jail soon. Spanked it. So
he wastes no fucking time.
No, he doesn't. And he's so obvious.
Yeah.
And then he tells people he just does not give a fuck is the best way to put it. He is like old dog from Menace to Society.
Yeah.
He
tells you he did it and then says, now prove it.
Now fucking prove it. Well, because Flowers can now not testify, and that is literally the only thing they had, on April 8th, 2004, he's released from jail.
Have to.
They fucking dropped the case and he's released from jail. There's nothing they can do. So it worked. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It fucking worked. That's April 8th. April 14th, 2004, he's arrested again, though, 6 days later here. This time, he's arrested for drugs. And you know him beating the murder rap pissed the fucking cops off. Oh, boy.
That DA they were like, find the drugs. I don't care.
Yeah, he said, motherfucker, we had this guy.
Yeah. We'll give him a murder case for the murder sentence for the length for the drugs.
Find some other people and offer them full immunity because he's going to fucking prison is basically what that is. So he is now arrested for drugs. The cops saying that his gang sold hundreds and hundreds of pounds of cocaine over a 5-year period. He's going to have a bail hearing, but they're trying to keep him in jail, saying that he's a, quote, danger to the community, which has never been more true about anybody.
And everything surrounding the community.
Yeah, this guy makes Aaron Hernandez look like a fucking choir boy. Like he's, this is a guy Aaron Hernandez would have been like, oh shit, I don't want to fuck with that guy.
Right.
Like this is.
Or I want to be like that guy one day.
Yeah, or I hope that guy lets me hang out with him.
Yeah.
One of the two. His attorney here, they said they couldn't reach him for comment. Now, apparently, they're also saying that he arranged for the murder of a key prosecution witness, but they're not fucking charging him with that right now. They said that he was slain in an execution-style murder, and within days after several of Savage's pals, all prime suspects of Flowers' murder, visited Savage in prison.
Wow.
He had all his buddies come in, made a plan. They went out and did it. And then he's like, don't know what you're talking about. And they had to let him go.
All these guys visited you. Yeah, they did. They love me.
That is fucking wild. And they said this happened just a few days after the district attorney's office disclosed that Flowers was to testify at trial.
Oh, my.
They should have definitely probably kept him in a room somewhere and kept an eye on him if they thought. Because he shouldn't have been going to his fucking aunt's house at that point. Mm-hmm. So they've been investigating Savage and his drug gang for years, the FBI and local authorities say. They have informants, wiretaps, surveillance. This is a big case, obviously. Yeah. And they said that they have reasonable cause to believe that Savage was the leader of a drug organization that sold crack, cocaine, and heroin all over the Philadelphia area.
No kidding.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, so he's arrested here, and he's got problems. He's got a lot of fucking problems, basically. He's charged in the cocaine ring. I'm trying to find out the exact charge here is, or how many, what the exact deal is. So they said the government contends that Savage and several others identified in the affidavit as co-conspirators were part of a drug trafficking, money laundering organization that distributes large quantities of cocaine and smaller quantities of heroin in the area since 1998. Uh-huh. Savage and his associates have been targets of a 3-year investigation, which hundreds of phone calls have been intercepted, drugs and money seized, and guns confiscated. That is not good for him.
No.
Those guns are used for shit. You know what I mean? That's so it's weird that he got caught with all that shit in 2001, but there was never anything that came of it. Remember, he got caught with 350 grand and all the processing shit, and it was never anything.
To him.
Yeah. But that apparently there was also another raid that led to this probation violation hearing, and then he was arrested by the FBI finally. So one cooperating witness told the FBI that during a period in the fall of 2000, he supplied Savage with 200 kilos of cocaine over 6 months. So there you go. April 17th, 2004, Kaboni is held without bail.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the federal prosecutor describes him as not only a flight risk, but also a danger to the community, describes his past and all the things that he is suspected of. And it can't be that hard of a decision to keep him locked up, I would say.
Yeah.
We probably don't need him out there, I would think. So anyway, he's out there. Now he's in jail, and he just acts like nothing has changed. He just runs shit from jail now. That's all. Yeah. He is really, really mad, though, that his buddy Coleman has flipped, and now he's assisting the prosecution.
Not happy about it?
Not happy about that. I guess Coleman has received threats from other inmates who have connections to Savage, and because he's in jail too.
Right.
So apparently while in the visiting room of the prison, Coleman saw Savage's sister, Kadada. And Kadada said to him, quote, "Don't let these crackers break you." Don't let these crackers break you.
I'm oftentimes worried about breaking the crackers.
Yeah, no. Don't let these, especially when the handy
crackers.
snack cheese and crackers.
Yeah. Oh, they always.
You got to be so gentle with those fucking things. You don't know how they were shipped.
No.
Jostled. They got to be shipped in a pillowy truck. They need to really make sure they're kept nice. So Kadada later wrote to Coleman, encouraging him not to reveal anything to federal agents. And in her letter, she said, quote, this is her closing, "Death before dishonor to your family," it says.
Golly.
Yes. And that was in parentheses, to your family. And Coleman understood that to mean his actual family, not members of his crew.
Not us.
Not us.
Yeah.
So later, Coleman is in a holding cell in the federal courthouse. Savage and one of his associates were placed in an adjacent cell. And immediately, Savage started talking very loudly about killing the rats and told Coleman that his family should die as well.
Oh, my
So that's very good planning. Put the guy who's telling on the guy right across from each other. That's great. That's going to work out perfectly.
Oh, boy. And he's already making threats right to his face.
Right to his face. Doesn't care. And he knows he's a fucking witness here, which is wild, man. So now they're looking for 2 more criminal associates here wanted in the slaying of Flowers. By the way, Flowers was also an ex-boxer. which is interesting.
Tough guy, too.
That's maybe how he knew him. You know what I mean? I think it's like The Wire. I think a lot of the kids from the neighborhood went from the boxing gym to the corner. I mean, that was kind of how it worked here. So police are looking for John Tillman and Dawood Bay. They are both 34 years old and described by the government as prime suspects of the murder of the last guy here, Flowers, who was murdered outside his aunt's house before the trial started. So it's so hard to keep these fucking murderees.
A guy named Bay was involved?
Yeah, Wee Bay.
Wow, yeah.
He sent Bay to go take care of it.
Yeah.
Yo Bay, go take care of this. Dawood Bay, Wood Bay.
Wow.
So, that's how that's going here. Now, Savage, obviously, this isn't surprising, but they were going to try to find these guys, and I assume flip them as well. I would think that's the whole point of what they're trying to do here. Apparently, Ali, the one guy they're looking for, is not believed to be connected to the Flowers killing, but Ali became linked to the drug probe when he was overheard on wiretaps on the Thomas guy's phone, asking Thomas for money in connection with a drug deal. Then Thomas and Bay called a guy named Cuddy. No shit. Of course, Cuddy, whose name is short for cutthroat, which is what they originally called him, literally. Here, he called him. During this 3.5-year investigation, Thomas's wiretap led to wiretaps on Ali's phone in June 2001. The wiretap conversations opened the door to this whole shit, basically. Yeah. And they also find out that, they're finding out who they're paying off, what cops they're paying off, what fucking, all that kind of thing. What banks are handling their money. They're getting, the feds are getting a whole type of...
Big picture of the whole thing.
The whole thing here. I guess Flowers, by the way, was facing a 20-year prison term as well on federal and state drug charges. That's why he was testifying when he was shot here. So they believe that Savage set him up, obviously, and that's the whole point. They said, quote, the jailhouse visits and subsequent murder occurred just days after the district attorney had disclosed that Flowers was to testify at Savage's trial. Savage's attorney called the scenario ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Why would he ever?
Just because my client's a drug-dealing murderer who's murdered other people before, why would he send his other drug-dealing, murdering friends to kill a fucking guy who's going to testify against him?
Who would do that?
For a murder? Who would do that? Yeah, that's fucking funny. He said, this is Savage's attorney. He said, that's ridiculous. He said, Flowers is a snitch.
Okay.
He's the murder victim. Yeah. So apparently the Tillman guy used phony credentials when he signed in at 347 at the correctional facility to visit him. Apparently, that's how he did. Tillman, they call a close associate of Savage, presented city prison with a phony Social Security card and driver's license because he didn't want to be seen as going there. And I'm sure he's a felon, and felons aren't allowed to visit felons also. So this was issued in the name of Robert Ted Jones. And when he signed he signed in as Jones too. Now, Tillman, this guy though, has no criminal record actually. He just didn't want to be associated with this.
Yeah, right.
Bay, the other guy, has 6 prior arrests, none for narcotics, 2 convictions for firearms violations. Jesus Christ. A Point Breeze developer, reputed South Philadelphia drug dealer, that's what they're calling Bay. A developer, and what is he, fucking Stringer Bell?
Yeah.
He's a fucking developer too. And South Philadelphia drug dealer. Bay was acquitted last year in major stolen house scam exposed by the Daily News. So he's running scams in that too.
Wow.
In
How do you steal houses?
I don't know. With paperwork you can do that. There's ways to do it if there's weird things here. My God. So, by the way, what we found out here, the guy, this whole thing that stemmed from the bumping into his car, he bumped into his bumper. He didn't even dent his fender. He tapped his bumper.
Yeah. Even if you cause a dent in the bumper, it unbolts and you can bolt a new one on.
Boom. It makes no fucking sense. And everybody said too, by the way, the bumper was not even damaged. There wasn't even a fucking mark on it.
It's just that jolt and the feeling
He wasn't even in the car. He was outside the car.
Oh my God.
It was just the respect thing of he bumped into his car, so now he's got to be seen to grovel on the street.
Property. Yeah.
Yep, that's what it is. Shot him with a .40 cal. several times here, there. So, yeah, Flowers, Jesus Christ. Flowers was killed with a 9mm gunfire in the head and torso while sitting in his Black Mercury. Wow. Jesus Christ. They call it an execution-style murder, obviously, here.
Poor bastard died in a Sable.
He died in a Mercury. That is fucking...
Yikes.
He died in a car they don't even make anymore. That's sad.
Yeah.
It's like dying in a Geo.
I hope it was at least a Cougar. Jesus.
Some, yeah, they made nice ones of those at least.
Yeah. Depends on what year that was too.
That's the other thing. I assume it would have to be pretty cool if he's a drug dealer. He's got to have some kind of status here. I would think here. I would hope. In the stolen house scam, by the way, Bay bought 5 houses at really low prices. One belonged to a hospitalized 71-year-old grandmother who came home to find her belongings strewn on her front lawn.
Dude.
From the hospital.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Bay's co-defendant in that was principal of a school.
Is that right?
By the way, yes. That's fucking amazing. That was
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, he was helping out with that. That is absolutely fucking
He's
wild.
the guy that knows how to do it with the paperwork.
Apparently so. Yeah. Or it was a woman. I'm sorry. Yes,
oh,
it's a
wow.
woman. She was convicted last year of notarizing phony deeds for some of the 33 properties that have been stolen and resold between 98 and 2001. She would just make phony deeds and steal people's houses.
Oh, boy. And then notarize it.
And notarize it, make it official.
She's a
and
notary.
shit.
She's scummy.
Now, Eugene Coleman, his name is Twin, by the way. Remember I said I'd have a nickname for him here.
Twin?
Twin.
Oh, Twin.
Twin. Eugene Twin here. He is arrested on October 8th, 2004. And just like everyone thought, old Twin is not going to fucking do the time and take it. He is going to flip.
Oh. Oh, boy.
He agrees to testify against Savage in the drug trial.
Okay.
Now, in March 2003, we know Coleman killed Tyrone Tolliver. We know that shit here. And the federal agents, what they do is they encouraged Coleman's mother, a 54-year-old prison guard, by the way, Marcella Coleman, to move to a new house, saying that, yo, your son is doing this. These guys are pretty hard. You should move to a new house. And she's like, no, get the fuck out of here. So what happened is Savage ordered her house to be burned down.
Yeah, with her in it.
With her. At the time, he's in custody. About 5 a.m., October 9th, 2004, the row house was firebombed.
Goddamn.
Yeah, it originated in the living room on the first floor, traveled quickly, and was extinguished after about 20 minutes. Wow. There were no survivors.
What?
Yeah.
20 minutes. That's a big firebomb.
Fucking burned it. Included in the death toll were Coleman, her 15-month-old son, Demir.
Oh, come on.
3 other children related to Coleman, 10-year-old Kaja Nash, 12-year-old Taj Portia, and 15-year-old Sean Rodriguez. Also 34-year-old Tamika Nash, Coleman's cousin, and the mother of the 10-year-old girl that were killed.
6 people.
And the family dog.
Of course.
Yep. 4 adults.
Golly.
What was it? 2 adults.
Yeah.
2 adults, 4 children, and the family dog.
6 people and a dog.
Burned down. None of these people.
Talk.
None of these people have anything to do with what's going on. Nothing to do with it. Like, some of these people might not even know that what's going on.
Yeah, right.
Burned to death in their house.
Well, the children for sure don't know what's going on.
That is fucking wild, man.
What the fuck?
They don't even know why this shit's happening. That is crazy. Made it the deadliest mass murder in Philadelphia since 2000. Fuck. October 14th, 2004, Kaboni Savage's mother says her son was not involved in that firebombing.
No?
He's a good boy.
Yeah.
He's a good boy. Yeah.
He told me no.
She lashed, this is in the newspaper, she lashed out at federal authorities and government witnesses who she claims have wrongly painted her son as a ruthless underworld crime boss. It's all a big misunderstanding. That's the problem. She said, quote, "It's unbelievable."
It really is.
This is pretty unbelievable, Barb. I'm going to say this is unbelievable. This is in a telephone interview. She said, quote, "They're saying all this negative stuff. My son is a loving, giving person. Always has been. He'll give you
flames.
bullets. He'll give you so many bullets and fireball. He'll give you Molotov cocktails. He doesn't mind. Those are yours to keep.
He
See?
had one to spare.
He doesn't want those bullets back
Yeah.
that he gives to you. Doesn't even want them. He's being obviously held without bail and all this type of thing.
Yeah.
We know what he's done here. He just killed multiple children, for fuck's sake.
Kidding. Yeah.
Holy goddamn shit. She says, though, Barbara, quote, no way in the world he's involved in any of this. Anything, because they went down the list of things that he's being suspected for, and she said, nope, not my son.
Couldn't be.
She said he would never hurt anyone like that. She said now she and her mother now fear for their lives because of news reports linking, this is Kadada said that. Kadada, the sister, said that now me and my mother are scared because of news reports linking my brother's name to the arson. Now they're going to come after us. Kadada said the people who know him know this isn't true. It's totally unbelievable. Then she described Eugene Twin Coleman as a punk who lied about her brother in order to get out from under his own problems. Yep. Kadada said he took the easy way out.
Is that right?
Yep, that's it. And they said, listen, this is ridiculous. The mother and the sister are saying that not only is this wrong now, this is what they've been doing to this poor guy for years. They said he'd be a champion boxer right now if his career wasn't derailed by that pesky murder charge back in '99. Right. That's what they said, literally. He had to stop boxing. You know, just, wow. That is insane, honestly. They're fucking Jesus Christ. But that's what they think here. Savage's sister Kadada said she never saw any drugs at all. She said, I lived in that house. I absolutely know it's a lie.
Yeah, but you don't think for a second that man's not telling you about his criminal deeds?
Well, he is, because the shit's in the living room, his cocaine processing center. Yeah. She's just a fucking liar. Yeah. Period. Yeah. Barbara said her only son here, because she has 2 daughters and a son, has been singled out by investigators and government informants alike. She said, quote, it's totally ridiculous. Again, just totally ridiculous. Kadada said he's engaged. His fiance is a school teacher. He's a school teacher. Also, he has a son who's 9 and 3 daughters, ages 4 to 8.
Wow.
This motherfucker has 4 kids.
Daughters.
3 daughters. That's their example right there. Wow. So he can't possibly have done any of this because his fiance is a school teacher and he has children.
Right.
You know. Then Barbara said he's a loving man. He's innocent, and we're going to prove it.
The Iceman's wife worked, right? They had kids.
I mean, I don't think she worked, but they had kids.
A lot of murdering.
She seemed like a real nice lady, though.
She seems great.
She seems like a real sweetheart, and it doesn't really matter. John Gotti's wife was fucked up, but a lot of these fucking wives are real nice ladies. So, October 15th, 2004, this is the Philadelphia Daily News giant headline for Savage, the name fits, it says. Yeah. Which is fucking brutal if you're on trial for murder. You don't want that coming out here. Holy shit, that's amazing. They said that they talked about apparently authorities believe Savage set the murder wheels in motion against the witness there with a telephone call from the federal detention center where he's being jailed to his sister Kadada. They think she's involved too. His sister allegedly put one of his friends on the phone.
That makes all the sense now.
Now it makes sense. And Savage, a vaguely coded message of, quote, you know what to do, they said. Set the whole thing in motion. That's they said police and FBI agents have reviewed the tape of the call, and they believe they need more evidence before they can charge Savage. So they don't know if that's enough. Just they said, you know what to do. They said this is Savage's lawyer, Tariq El-Shabazz. He said there was no mention of anybody doing a hit or any type of conversation. Savage had nothing whatsoever to do with those murders. He said, do you think that this man would make a direct or indirect threat on a line that's being taped toward a witness in the case? Apparently.
No.
I mean, you shouldn't, but he apparently did.
Yeah, right.
You can't just say when someone does the dumbest thing ever, do you think they would do that? They did that.
We're not saying he did it well. We're saying he got caught.
It's like Sarah Boone going, do you think I'd just leave him in a suitcase if I knew he was going to die? I don't know, but you did. So it doesn't really matter at this point.
I don't care if you knew, to be honest.
That's the point. If you didn't, you're a fucking moron. So anyway.
If you didn't, it's probably because you didn't even think about it. You were just being an asshole.
Yep. So Kadada says she can't even imagine what conversation they could be talking about that could be misinterpreted by the police as instructions for a hit. She said, quote, I'm his little sister. He would never do it at all, but he wouldn't involve me at all, definitely. Okay, so he wouldn't kill. He wouldn't kill anybody, but especially not through me.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ here. They said that they describe him short and trim. Savage doesn't dress like a drug kingpin or drive luxury cars, but he allegedly made lots of money. And one of the cops said, quote, he was always smart about that, dressing down, driving Fords, Jeeps, and Subarus, not wanting to draw attention to himself. He was smart.
Okay, yeah.
He saw Carlo Gambino and said, that's how you survive and not die in jail.
That's how you die of a heart attack.
Yes, exactly. While watching a baseball game on a Saturday afternoon.
Right. That's how you get to die of a heart attack in your 80s rather than bullets in your 40s.
But you also can't do all the other crazy shit that you've done here. They said, though, that, it doesn't matter what his profile is. Everybody knows what he's been doing, basically. They're calling him public enemy number one, everything like that. They say that they didn't understand. Before he started boxing, they said he had 2 previous convictions and what appeared to be garden variety criminal cases. He was once jailed for 95 days in Burlington County, New Jersey for drug trafficking. And in 1996, he was placed on probation in Philadelphia for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle.
Okay.
So that's a plea bargain down from car stealing is what that is.
Yeah. Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them, or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
So Savage, they're saying that they didn't suspect early that he would be this, basically, is what they were saying. I can't believe he killed all those kids and shit. That's insane.
That's fucking gross.
Yeah, so police are obviously trying to get to the bottom of that. You can't burn children alive and not have people really come after you.
4 of them.
Like, it's one thing to not drive a flashy car and not have, like, jewelry and shit, but what the cops really get attention to, drawn more, is dead children.
Right. Yeah.
People tend to really get pissed off about that, and that just doesn't go away. You can shoot a drug dealer in the street, and, the kerfluffle will be gone in a minute, but you burn 4 children and a dog and 2 women to death. You're a piece of shit.
Pretty easy to get a lot of heat from that. That's just basic criming. You know what I mean? That's just basic. That's just basic Grand Theft Auto knowledge. You can't. You can't do that shit.
You got to know that. You got to know general GTA rules of the game. So, Barbara told this newspaper that her son grew up in a nice, close-knit family. Mm-hmm. The father, Joe, died in '89 after a battle with cancer.
Wow.
So, she said her son is engaged to a school teacher. He has 4 children. Mm-hmm. It's just ridiculous. She said, when I go and visit, he always says, Mom, make sure you tell my kids I love them and I miss them. Okay. She said he used to love math and science when he was younger, and he has lots of friends, and he's just a real nice guy. He lived with me until he was arrested.
Yeah.
Just a sweet, taking care of me, just a sweet guy. She said that she knows that that he told her that, quote, I'm not what they're saying, and she believes him.
Yeah. Mistaken identity.
Yep. It's all of the above.
Misunderstood. There's so many things.
She said, quote, he said, they're making me out to be this monster. And he said, it's not true, Mom. And I said, I know, baby.
I know.
I know it's not true. I know you didn't burn children to death. Jesus fucking Christ. That is...
Where there's smoke, there's dead babies. You can't do that.
Dead babies, dead fucking women, dead dogs, dead everything, which is crazy.
There's literally women and children only in that house. That's the most disrespectful killing of all time.
It really fucking is. It's horrifying. It's fucking horrifying.
And a dog.
And the dog. They knew that there was nobody of interest in the house. This was just to let them know they mean business, which would make me want to do whatever I was doing to you harder now that you killed my mother and fucking relatives. Now I'm going to make shit up.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm going to say, forget about it. You shot Kennedy now. You are in for every fucking thing you've ever been near.
Atlanta child murderers is all you.
Yep. He told me. He said that Wayne Williams is a bitch-ass motherfucker, and he took the rap for me. I don't care if the dude was 6 years old when it happened. That's why the kids got in the car. They weren't scared of a 6-year-old.
So I got away with it.
Telling you, the assistant district attorney here who prosecuted Savage for the Lassiter murder, the first murder, said, I don't know enough about the arson murder case to comment, but I can say this with great certainty. Any person that murders an individual over a parking spot, as the evidence showed Mr. Kaboni Savage did, is an extremely dangerous individual. Anybody that would take a human life over tapping another car while backing into a parking spot, if they possess that level of violence for that level of provocation, that's a very dangerous individual.
How many reverse cameras, how many lives have they saved?
Oh, my God. How many street shootings have they saved? Yeah, like Google has saved so many bar fights.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing. Same exact goddamn thing here. In 1999, Savage, Coleman, and 2 other men were arrested in New Jersey for drug trafficking. FBI Kevin Lewis, hiding nearby, overheard Savage tell his pals to keep their mouths shut. Savage told Coleman and another associate not to worry because their bail will be paid for them. I got your bail. Don't sweat it. Okay. Savage told them not to tell anybody about the drug processing material found in the apartment. He told them to, quote, take it to their graves.
Yeah.
Savage said, quote, we know what we do for a living, and when we get out, we'll start over. He told his pals, just take it on the chin and fucking work it out.
Money, and when you get back out, you'll have a leg up, and you can start back up.
We'll start back up again.
I mean, I understand that it pays so well that what's the point of going straight?
That's the thing. The profit margin is so high.
It's insane.
You can't make any kind of money near that.
There's no product that sells because it works so well.
No. Maybe celebrity podcasts. That's the only.
Yeah.
That's the only thing where you can do less and make more.
That doesn't even work. It just happens to generate money.
Happens to generate tons of money, but it sucks.
It's stupid.
Oh, 3 famous people are going to talk.
Look
Great.
at this. Oh, they're going to talk about
Again.
the time they went to Starbucks and surprised a barista.
That's great. Fucking assholes. Thanks for invading the space. We appreciate it.
Thank you for making my life so much harder.
Yeah, thank you. It's great. We love seeing it. Wish you nothing but the best, everybody.
Yeah. All success. Why should you fail? Ever?
Why not? Let's just get as many most famous people as we can. Just have them sit around and talk about how famous they are.
And then pay them $100 million
Please,
for the pleasure.
Please do that. Please do.
What the fuck?
We'll continue to break our fucking balls.
Jesus Christ.
So they talk a little bit more about the Coleman guy, Twin, who's awaiting trial on the Tolliver murder. He had told authorities that Tolliver was killed by Kareem Bluntly, and that Kareem had stolen $7,000 that Tolliver was planning to spend on cocaine. They said, quote, Coleman stated that he assisted Bluntly in cleaning up the murder scene and in concealing and transporting Tolliver's body in the trunk of a car. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ, that is fucking wild, man. By the way, Bluntly, when he was murdered at the corner of 18th Street and Master Street in North Philadelphia, he was shot 6 times. God. I think that's the guy who got slumped.
Yeah.
I think that's Mr. Slumpy. They got it. Well, you got to make sure.
Yeah.
Savage is one of 20 defendants charged after an investigation that spans nearly 4 years for the whole drug organization. Yeah. Out of 20 people, somebody's flipping. There's just no way it's not happening.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way all of them stick.
No.
Story.
But 4 of them have pleaded guilty, and 3 of them have agreed to testify against him. So out of 20, you're going to get 3 that are scared enough to do this shit. FBI agents, and with him too, even if you don't testify against him, he still might kill you. So you might as well. Right. He doesn't leave you a lot of
because he doesn't. He's not going to trust me anyway.
Well, that's what happened to fucking John Gotti. That's why Sammy the Bull flipped on him, is because he was like, well, if I don't, he's probably he's talking about having me killed anyway.
I know everything. Like, why wouldn't I?
They played him the tape of him saying he didn't like what fucking Sammy was doing with a couple of the construction things and muscling people out and all that. He goes, well, fucking Jesus Christ, I'm gonna.
He should have just fucking told me that.
Yeah, he didn't care about the drugs at all.
No,
because his brother Gene was the biggest drug dealer in New York, and he loved
John
Gene.
Didn't care, huh?
Nope. That's why that was part of why they killed Paul Castellano, is because Castellano
he didn't like the drugs.
Okayed said that he was going to kill Gene Gotti, his brother, who was sold a lot of drugs. So John said, "All right, that's enough of that. No one's killing my brother. I'm taking over. Fuck him."
Castellano's jacked about the jack booths. Like that's
such
a stupid fucking and gross and like isn't that a little? Wouldn't you rather be known for selling drugs to like smackheads than facilitating public beat off?
I guess, but that wasn't. That was considered a different thing, though. That was like, the drugs, to sell them to the kids, and the, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? The destroying society. Yeah. Meanwhile, it had nothing to fucking do with that. It had to do with the fact that it had long sentences and people flipped when they got caught for drugs. Yeah. Hijacking a truck was 5 years. Guys could do that. 25 years for having a bunch of heroin. They're not doing that ugly. Shit. Yeah. They're going to rat. So
facilitating all this gross jacking off.
And all the jacking off. Well, I mean, that's just anything with that's a cash business they were going to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't give a fuck what the product was. It's how it's being paid for.
And porn and all that shit went right through the mob in the 70s. Right. So the FBI is currently investigating several drug gangs. They recorded more than 16,000 conversations between September 2000 and June 2001. Wow. Savage was intercepted in more than 130 calls allegedly discussing the drug business from his mother's home. Very nice. Use mom's house phone to discuss. Fucking idiot. Even I knew enough to use a goddamn payphone.
Yeah,
and I wasn't on a level where anybody was listening. You know what I mean?
Cops
by any
know
stretch.
If they're investigating you, they know who your mom is. They've seen your birth certificate.
Well, plus you live there. They know what. They just have to know the address.
Your house. Yeah.
So anyway, that's Thomas, one of the guys, is said to be dying of liver cancer and has been under house arrest while awaiting trial.
Wow.
They said these intercepted calls provide compelling evidence that Savage was actively running a drug trafficking enterprise from his residence. Wow. All right. October 19th, 2004, Philadelphia Daily News again here. This is fucking wild. It says, this is a really crazy headline. Firebomb deaths not suitable for cartoon.
What?
Yeah. Why the fuck would it be suitable for a cartoon?
What are they
That's what
talking
I'm
about?
wondering. Well, let's find out here. It says Resine Wilkinson's cartoon showing the charred remains of a firebombed row house titled "And in Philadelphia's Real Legal System." In those charred remains are they tried to do a political
Right. Why
satire
would a satire cartoon on
that's
four bodies?
That's rough.
Oh, man.
That is rough. Yeah, they said they were, I guess they said that the in those charred remains are a family of correctional officers who still work in the Philadelphia prisons. They are part of the legal system that Mrs. Wilkinson finds ineffectual and also suffer the tragic consequences of violent criminal acts. It's like blaming the victims for causing the tragedy. The loss of Officer Marcella Coleman and her family is deeply felt by those of us who knew and worked with her at the correctional facility. Coleman was among the officers who opened the jail in 1995. The death by firebomb of 2 adults and 4 children does not reduce very well to a cartoon.
No doubt.
I cannot imagine the 1963 firebombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, also 4 innocent children killed, being treated in this manner.
So funny.
They're saying, basically, just because a drug dealer did this doesn't mean that, it's different. So that's pretty fucked up, honestly. December 1st, 2005, again, Philadelphia Daily News, potty talk tapes played at drug trial.
Oh.
Potty
What
talk.
is potty talk?
Well, in part 1 of, quote, toilet bowl talk is what they call it, meaning they curse a lot.
Yeah.
Accused drug trafficker Kaboni Savage expounds on Kaboni Savage. This is fucking great here. This is so fucking funny. By the way, his jury, this is at his drug trial here, 6 men, 6 women on the jury. FBI agent Kevin Lewis testifies that on October 26, 2004, a device was installed for 60 days in a vent between 2 cells with adjoining plumbing systems. So they got him recorded in jail.
Oh, my.
The FBI never obtained a wiretap for a prison cell before, Lewis said. Here's some excerpts. This is fucking amazing. They call it toilet talk because they're talking through empty toilet bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what guys do. So they just put a mic in between them, which is hilarious in the plumbing. One here is this is Savage talking to Dawood Bay. Quote, "I know I didn't sell drugs because I wanted to," meaning had to. Yeah. And then Bay said, "Yes, you did. I never wake up say I want to be a drug dealer," said Savage. Because Bay said, "Yes, you did." And he said, "Nah, I never wake up and say I want to be a drug dealer." Yeah. And Bay said, why you couldn't have went and got a job?" And Savage said, "Come on, what am I going to do? Work and go to school? Yeah, right."
It feels like
what am I going to do? What 300 fucking million other people does? No, I can't do that. Fuck that. That's crazy.
Wube feels like he's in on this, and also, if he's not, he's real dumb.
Yeah, no, he's just doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
On getting cocaine, he said, quote, "I was strictly oil then," referring to selling the precursor chemical to manufacture it. That's what he was doing. He said, "I wasn't fucking with the white shit yet."
Yeah.
So he was just selling the supplies for it at first.
To make it, yeah.
He said then his uncle, Gerald Thomas, bought he called him a quote-unquote uncle, not his mom's sister and brother or anything, borrowed $20,000 and promised to pay back $2,250 in 3 weeks. And he told Bay, "Man, that's $2,500. When he did that, it was like, all right, well, this shit could be worth it," meaning fronting people, So he started thinking, oh, yeah, I could front people, and then they're into me for that, the mob figured that out. Juice is better than anything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you're getting points on it. It's money. That's just straight cash.
That's it. And that's just like Multisanti. When you're bleeding a guy, you don't squeeze him dry right away.
Great
that's the thing. On diluting the coke, he said, quote, I was taking that cocaine powder when I really learned it. I could turn that powder into liquid and bring it back to powder.
Hey, say that right into the toilet.
Do that again.
Fucking idiot.
Yep. And bring it back to powder. And listen, I could hit it with procaine to dilute it and leave the scales in it. So that means so you could still see it looks pure. As they'll say, the scaly shit looks pure, referring to the flaky appearance of the cocaine after it's been diluted. He talked about his dream home. He said he spent $80,000 to buy the house and spent $40,000 to renovate it. And he said the kitchen was red and white. I got tired of that black and silver. I ain't tooting my own horn. I had wooden floors. Listen, I had a stand-up shower in the master bedroom, wall-to-wall mirrors, strobe lights. The basement was immaculate, wall-to-wall carpet. You put in there and your footprints. You put your foot in there and your footprints stay for a day. I only paid $140 and I made $40,000 off my joint. Yeah. He's flipping houses too.
Yeah, he's sold for $180.
No shit. He said, right before all this went down, I was getting surround sound for the house. Mirrored closeted doors, bay windows in the front, the walkway redone, the brick around the fireplace. I was so proud of this joint, man. Fuck these rats, man. They're going to pay. He's mad because he can't. I put all the shit I wanted. I got it just the way I wanted. Now these fucking rats have ruined me. God damn it. He also says he told fellow inmate Shannon Muse on November 13, 2004 in a tape conversation, I ain't got no regrets for nothing I did. Only thing I could have done without was the house arrest, but I'd do it all over again. I ain't complaining about my lifestyle. He said, made sure my mom didn't work. My sister ain't have to work. She got an education. Put my wife through school. Got her education. My other sister got a house. I mean, the fruits of my labor. I'm proud of that.
No shit.
Everyone in his family is living off drug money. He's very proud of that.
I did that.
He said his sister and his wife have new cars and that he, quote, been everywhere he wanted to go. So he got no regrets. He's good.
People are dead, man.
Nope. He said these guards ain't never going to experience that. They just want to be us. They just ain't got the heart.
No, they don't. They want to.
They ain't got the heart.
They want a good job, man.
Yeah, they have no education and want a job that has benefits. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. They just want to be able to
get a filling every now and again.
Yeah, that is not our best and brightest.
No.
Anyone who says, I'll go to the jail for a third of my life is not our best and brightest, obviously. So, you know what I'm saying? He said, them N-words ain't never going to know how it feel to go to a car dealer and say, give me that. He said, you drove the finest cars, you fucked the finest broads, and you shopped in the finest clothing stores. He said, look at the watch. You pay $50 for a watch. He said, these motherfuckers ain't got $50,000 houses or cars, and you got this shit on your wrist. So he's like, they're all just jealous.
Yeah.
That's all it is, man. Fucking jealous. So,
you're also a murderer, man.
That's the other thing. But he's saying they're all just jealous because these motherfuckers don't have the shit that we have. And it's funny, too, because I've read books about guys who got undercover and been prison guards, and a lot of times they do talk about they are fucking jealous, these guys. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
They are. They're like, this motherfucker's got all this shit, and he's in jail, and he's still, got more money than me. Yeah. And he's in jail currently. That shit pisses me off. Yeah.
I'm here willingly, and this motherfucker has to be here.
He has to be here, and he's living better than me. Like, not living better, but his family has money. He's making money, running shit from prison, stuff like that. December 4th, 2005. By the way, all that shit will be, admitted into court, too, in his trial.
Sure, of course.
The jury heard all that. Now the jury listens to more tapes. They hear everything. The newspaper said it was a combination of hip-hop arrogance and street corner fatalism, a rare look at the mindset of a man federal authorities say once dominated Philadelphia's drug underworld. Right. They got to hear several hours of tapes. Oh. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. They said, quote, boasting about never having held a job, bragging about his wealth, and promising to kill anyone who might be cooperating against him. Savage unknowingly provided the prosecution with an expletive-laden final chapter in a month-long trial that could land him in jail for the rest of his life.
Awesome.
Yes, the conversations picked up by an FBI listening device, hidden with court approval in Savage's cell, were played right before the prosecution rested its case. One of them said, "They're going to pay," quote, this is him, "they're going to pay," talking about the rats, and adding that he really didn't care how many or who had to be eliminated. "I'll kill every motherfucker." That's not good.
No.
When another inmate suggested to that Savage knew, quote, knew who got to go, he replied, "And if I was wrong, so be it. That's how this is supposed to. That's how this is supposed to be, man. Even if I was wrong, fuck him."
He grew up in such a nice time to be able to be a boxer for a career.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially that weight class got huge. That's when De La Hoya and all those guys,
And
Mosley
from Philly,
and Vargas. Yeah.
Philly, man, they support their own.
Absolutely. No, he could have done something with himself, but this is so much easier.
Yeah, it is.
You got to get up and run at like 4 o'clock in the morning when you're a boxer. That's hard.
Yeah.
Sit-ups and the like. You know what I'm saying? That's
the worst.
He is. He's a nightmare, this guy. He says he insisted that he had no regrets about the way he had lived his life in these tapes.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, nothing. Not at all. He even was bragging that they had to arrest me more than a month before they arrested everybody else because they knew that if they left me out on the street, I'd start killing people. They know that shit. They know not to fuck with me. He said, quote, "Wow, they know if they left me out there, they wouldn't have had no case."
These are the worst quotes to have in the police custody.
Right before they play hours of this, and then they go, "Prosecution rests," and then they fucking turn it over to the defense. What do you do?
We're saying nothing. He's going to say it all.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, the prosecutors are like, this is just golden. He's just giving us everything. The prison tapes allowed the prosecutors to dramatically underscore the point that, you know, with his own words, everything they said, here's everything we've said about him with him confirming it. Yeah. They even the shit about his house and, you know, all these rats of now I can't even stay in my nice house, all this type of shit.
He's not a bad guy. He's the bad guy.
He is the bad guy, talking about the prison guards. You know, they ain't going to never know how it is to go to a car dealer. He also said, quote, "That's a hell of a feeling." Because he said that feeling where you get to go buy whatever you want. He said, "That's a hell of a feeling. Spend a dime on some woman, $12,000 just to trick." Just to fuck some broad. He said,
to stun out, yeah.
Yep. He said, "You just spent 6 months of their salary having fun. See what I'm saying? You drove the finest cars, you made love to the finest broads, and you shopped at the finest clothing stores."
And boy, what a great day.
What a great life it is. And all I have to do is kill people and sell lots of drugs. We'll sell that. We'll play that for the jury. And then him about his mom and, you know, all that kind of shit. And Christ, it's fucking hilarious, all the shit he said. He said, that's fucking so funny. He said, "I know I didn't sell drugs because I wanted to." He said, "My pop was living. When my pop was living, I was never looking at drugs." And he said, "Well, why can't you get a job?" That was then. And he said, "What am I going to go to school and work?" Psh,
right.
Hell no. And he said, he talked about the guards again. He said, I like to live, man. They're going to die miserable. They're waiting for that pension, that Social Security. What you want to get? $2,000 a month? I ain't living that way. I like to live. Those guards aren't never going to get to experience going down there and just buying what you want to buy. I mean, they don't got to know that feeling. They got to wait for their next check. I ain't waiting.
He does know that there are more than just drug dealer and prison guards.
There's other jobs. Yeah, it's true. There's other things you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
it's
absolutely.
Not that or that, man.
There are other jobs. Yes. I don't think where this guy's from, he had a ton of options.
Yeah.
But if you're from a neighborhood where it's considered an upstanding, great thing to do to go get the shit punched out of your head, you don't have the best options. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
But at the same time,
middle management, where you make a couple few $100,000 a year, is not going to be in his future.
He's not going to be living like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, though, he had an option to box.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
He just wanted it faster than that.
Right.
He could have gotten that boxing, maybe. You never know. You know, that's
there are
the
boxers
thing.
that throw around a lot more money than that.
Fuck yeah. Look at Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he's the best boxer, pound for pound, who's ever lived. But still, you know,
best paid too,
and highly paid. Well, that's because he never loses. That's it got to the point where
that's helpful. Yeah,
you never lose. That's what'll happen. Yeah. But I mean, he had some other avenue to go down.
Yeah,
so he didn't even try that shit. He had one fight and won. No excuse. So anyway, this is so fucking great. They're playing all of this shit. His attorney, by the way, his attorney said, quote, if the tapes are so bad, he's got nothing to lose. So now they're talking about maybe he'll testify to try to explain some of these tapes away and explain that he was just blowing off steam, basically.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that's going here. They're talking about a house part of this whole thing. He's accused of running all this shit. They said among 300 wiretap conversations the government played during the 5-week trial are the ones in which Savage and others discussed the drug business. They said if Warren recovers his voice today, Savage may testify and the defense could rest its case. Meantime, both sides quizzed a realtor about a 2-story house on Toolpocken Street near Woolston in West Oak Lane, which cooperating witnesses Paul Daniels testified earlier he bought from the defendant Melvin Stein. These are also co-defendants. Daniels testified he bought it with drug money, gave Stein $30,000 under the table, and put the property in his grandmother's name.
Smart.
Realtor George Pittman said under direct examination from Stein's attorney, George Margariti, whatever, that it is not uncommon for a relative to buy a house for a mother or grandmother, nor to transfer the property later. They said it's not permissible to put one price on the settlement documents and pay $30,000 under the table. But to me, this is, if I'm the jury, I'm falling asleep during that part. I'm like, you're telling me about
to know the ins and outs of how they evade the taxes.
Tell me about murder. This is crazy. Yeah, there's murders. Like, you're fucking burying the lead here, Chief. What are we doing? So it comes down to the jury here, and the jury convicts him of conspiracy to distribute cocaine, money laundering, witness intimidation, and witness retaliation.
Okay.
So he is gangster shit. As he's being led from court, he said, "It's all right." That's all he would say to people. Okay. It's all right. They said the federal law enforcement officers in Philadelphia called the verdict one of the most important in recent memory because of how dangerous Savage was. He said, Mr. Savage is a dangerous man and needs to be locked up for a long time. It's a very significant prosecution because if witnesses are silenced and intimidated, the whole system would eventually break down because nobody would testify truthfully at trial. It's important that defendants and witnesses see those who threaten witnesses will find that they will spend more time in jail and justice will be done. They said that we simply won't tolerate witness intimidation. 4 defendants were convicted on related charges. They deliberated over 4 days. Wow. It's a 6-week trial, and there's a lot of evidence, so you'd have to go through all this shit. And I'm sure they were just like, let's hear those tapes again. That was fun.
Weren't those crazy?
That was crazy, right? His defense attorney said, I think we did a good job of exposing the culture of cooperation, which is endemic in the FDC. Authorities said that Savage and his buddy were leaders of this multi-million-dollar deal here. Fucking, that's hilarious. One of the tapes, a conversation between Thomas, his co-defendant, and Imam Shazuddin Ali, led to a separate corruption investigation that included the bugging of Mayor Street's office, the mayor's office.
Really?
Ali, former city treasurer Corey Kemp, and more than a dozen other people have been convicted of corruption charges as a result. So this is so...
Yeah.
When you're dealing with money like this, it's so fucking deep. Yeah. Shit goes real deep because it's fucking money. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. That's what makes everything go around.
It's the whole reason we're doing this.
Yeah, that's it. So fuck, man. The next title here, this is great, is called of an article is called "Savage Justice."
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to be behind bars, and they're talking about the fact that he's he's looking at 20 years here, and then they're also talking about charging him for the firebombing and all that shit too.
Wow.
So, this is a lot. The government's case here, in the Philadelphia, this is an editorial, not an editorial, a send in. What the fuck are they called? when you send in your bullshit.
Editorial?
Well, that's the editor.
Letter to the editor?
Letter to the editor. There you go. That's better. Philadelphia Daily News. Letter to the editor, calling it savage injustice. This is by Rob Boyden of Drexel Hill. Quote, the recent conviction of former boxer Kaboni Savage was a serious blow to the rights of every citizen of the United States.
Is that right?
Really? The government...
too?
You, everyone listening right now, they're taking your rights because of this guy. The government's, quote, case against Savage was built primarily on the testimony of unsavory criminal witnesses who were facing long prison sentences if they didn't testify against him. It's quite obvious that these, quote, witnesses would commit perjury without batting an eye. The tapes, bro. What about the tapes? It's pathetic that it's so common these days for our government to build criminal cases against defendants by using career criminals as their star witnesses. In Kaboni Savage's case, the prosecution took the unprecedented move of placing wiretaps inside his jail cell. That was an extremely low blow.
You should know that anything you say in there.
It's not your house.
Why is that a low blow?
It's not your house. I would assume... Right. First of all, you shouldn't be saying shit because everybody's listening and trying to get something to get them out of trouble. So, number one, you shouldn't listen anyway.
Why would you ever expect that's fucking going to be kept quiet?
Imagine. He said, I'm not saying we should be soft on crime. I'm saying that every defendant in a criminal case in this country is entitled to a level playing field. And in Savage's case, the playing field was not level by any stretch of the imagination. The government had the upper hand. Dude, he's firebombed, killed children. I mean, what are we talking about?
Murdered babies, man.
He's got like 9 bodies on him that we know of at this point. Wow. March 11th, 2005. They give leniency to somebody who testified against him. They said a convicted drug dealer who faced a mandatory 20-year prison sentence but cooperated last year, he got his reward, which is knocking 17 years off of his sentence. Eugene Twin Coleman, his buddy there, got his sentence. It was, they were talking about 20 years. He got, you, sir, may fuck off, 42 months in prison.
Okay.
Which is nowhere close to that. Less than 4 years and 10 years of supervised release.
Okay.
And he gets credit for time served, which is like almost 2 years, basically. So he could be out of prison within a month, they said. And enter a federal witness protection program.
Yeah.
That is fucking crazy. Wow. They're saying, look, and the government's saying, look what you could be. If you flip on him, you could be free soon in a protection program.
Yeah. And looking over your shoulder either way.
Yeah. Well, Coleman lost his mother, 15-year-old son, and 4 other relatives in the firebombing. That's why he flipped, which I would have flipped too. I said, fuck you, motherfucker. You know what? I don't care anymore because you're obviously, you're probably going to kill me anyway. So guess what? You're going to order it from prison. I'll tell you that shit very much. It's not going to be from the comfort of your new fucking hardwood floors. Shit's going to be from prison.
Somebody else is still in the house you built.
Yeah, exactly. So, Coleman had pled guilty to conspiring to manufacture and distribute 100 kilos of cocaine. And, So, April 26th, 2006, Jesus Christ, they have memos of all of his shit here. And this is of his recordings, and this is fucking horrifying. He's talking about the firebombing.
Kaboni is?
No, Kaboni. And he said, here's a quote, they should have took him, meaning Coleman, they should have took him and got some barbecue sauce and poured it on them sons of bitches. I'm glad
what the fuck?
I'm glad the bitch is dead.
Those are children, man.
Yep. Then regarding the children, the guy said, kids died too. He said, fuck them. Fucking little baby, he should have died. His pop's a rat. He would have been a mouse. His mom's a rat, and the pit bull was there. That was a rat in pit bull's clothing.
That's some cold shit.
That's cold. That's like in Goodfellas when Jimmy Conway shoots when Tommy, not Jimmy Conway, when fucking Tommy shoots Joe Pesci's character shoots Michael Imperioli. Yeah. And he goes, fuck him, he's a rat. He would have grown up to been a rat. Whole family's fucking rats. But at least Michael Imperioli was in his 20s. This is a baby, 15-month-old baby. Fuck them.
Pour
fucking
some Sweet Baby Ray's on him.
Yeah, fucking little baby. He should have died.
Wow.
KC Masterpiece's ass.
Yeah. The dog could talk, he would have ratted on me.
He would have
too.
ratted. His mom's a rat, and everybody's a rat in there, even the fucking dog. He made vicious remarks about after Coleman's mother and obviously cousin. All these people were killed. Wow. His conversations recorded by the FBI are in a government memorandum to be considered by the U.S. District Judge Mary McLaughlin when she sentences Savage tomorrow on multiple federal charges. Like, here's more bad shit about him.
Yeah.
His lawyer says they're trying to sentence him for murders he's not charged with. They're making their suspicions plain. And the prosecutor said, we're not asking the judge to sentence Kaboni Savage based on the Coleman tragedy, but it's something that can't be ignored when considered with the rest of the acts of witness intimidation against families. The arson murders of the Coleman family give these threats credibility. They're saying, we're just saying that this is what happens to people he threatens.
Right.
Which is still, that is really walking the line there, though. That's inflaming a jury. Like, there's dead kids and we think maybe he did it, so sentence him to more is kind of shitty, honestly. That's, even for this guy, Christ. Yeah. I guess he also, Savage, on these tapes, threatened to kill other witnesses, as well as a warden, a police captain, a lieutenant, and guards at the federal detention center where he was jailed. Wow. He bragged about how easy it was to find someone and how he had soldiers on the street who could carry out his plans. The memo said 2 months after Savage was jailed, he vowed to melt something in Coleman's daughter's face and kill her. Yeah.
Melt her face.
Melt her face and kill her.
Mm.
And then did it. In August 2004, Savage warned Coleman that the feds might be able to protect him, but not his mother and daughter.
Yeah.
In mid-September, Savage yelled he wanted to kill Twins' family through the prison toilet bowl, a communication system for inmates, one way to put it. That was when they were in adjacent cells. 3 days before the murders by fire, Savage warned, quote, Twin think we gonna rock his brother. Fuck his brother. We gonna hit the N-word where it hurt. Fuck his brother. Don't care about his brother.
Yeah.
We're gonna kill his mom and baby. On October 8, 2004, 18 hours before the arson, Savage, quote, menacingly pointed his finger in the shape of a gun at Coleman while both were in transit to federal court. He later swore he'd kill Coleman if Coleman was mistakenly put in his cell. Only 8.5 hours before the Coleman house was burned to the fucking ground, Savage called home at 8:30 p.m. here, and that's the call where he instructed his sister, whom he used as an intermediary, to tell Lamont Lewis to, quote, get that done. A few minutes later, Lewis arrived, and then Savage asked to speak to him, and then Savage told Lewis, who was also known as Poppy Eye, not Popeye, Poppy Eye, Poppy Eye, that he was, quote, like family and the only one he could trust, and then that the only one he could trust, quote, with that. That thing. Then Savage told Lewis that Kidada would explain everything to him. He said, you're going to feel it when she says it because you're going to understand. That's what he said to him. October 28th, 17 days after the murder, Savage's mother, Barbara, and Kidada visited him. He asked how Poppy Eye was, and his mother said, calming down.
Chilling out.
My boy has done nothing wrong. Oh,
Yeah.
my baby.
Yeah.
Savage later said he wanted to tell the prison captain that Coleman was now beyond the threat, the memo said. What can I threaten him with now? Yeah. A year later, during a break in his drug trial, Savage taunted FBI agent Lewis by saying, hey, where's Twin at? How's his family? He's not even hiding it. Brazen.
That is filthy, man.
I don't even know what the
He's
fuck
a bad guy.
He is a fucking bad guy. So sentencing comes around here. And man, this is fucking, you have to sentence this guy here. He says, quote, well, the judge says, you, sir, may fuck off 30 years in prison for you.
Okay.
30 years in federal prison.
Hold him.
They said he seemed to accept it. In the newspaper, they said he turned, smiled at the more than 24 supporters clustered on one side of the room and said, it's all right.
Yeah.
He said it again. The U.S. attorney, in trying to get the sentence, said Savage is a man who is undeserving of mercy. He said, I've been a prosecutor for 18 years, and I've never seen a defendant as vicious, vindictive, and hateful as Kaboni Savage.
I would go as far as saying just cold and doesn't understand it.
We've never had anybody.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Nope. This is the worst crime and sports guy ever. It really is, I think.
I've never heard of
somebody
somebody
most vicious.
Yeah, gives so little fucks that he firebombed 4 children, 2 people, a dog, and said they all deserved.
They deserve. Even the pit bull was a rat.
Yeah.
In pit bull's clothing. That's
pulled all the other pits.
Fucking crazy. His defense attorney said the judge rightly sentenced Savage for the crimes he was convicted of, not the other illegal acts that the prosecutors attempted to link him to. Yeah. He said, thank you for not being, not being fucking, not being swayed by the fact that my client said that they should spread barbecue sauce over the tops of dead children who've been burned to death. Yeah.
Based dead bodies. Wow.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. At one point, Savage told a friend in a recorded conversation, "You're hurting my kids sending me to jail, man. Your kids, your mom, nobody's getting a pass, man. They're going to pay, man. That's all I dream about, man." Okay. That's what he told a friend in a recorded conversation. They told him that. But his lawyer said he's been castigated and excoriated in the court of public opinion. That's right. Before the judge ruled, she listened to more than a half dozen character witnesses who spoke on his behalf. His aunt said Savage to her represented, quote, charity, dignity, respect, and intelligence.
Giving away
charity.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he gives free firebombs to needy families with lots of kids.
Fire sales, James.
Yeah. His mom said that in his heart of hearts, he's one of the sweetest people you ever want to know.
Lady.
He just got, wow.
Holy shit.
Savage told the judge that he made mistakes, but that he was not the menacing drug boss that prosecutors painted him to be. He said he was being punished because he didn't cooperate with the authorities. He said, it's my word against theirs, and I guess because they cooperated, they're believable now. Yep. He said he could have cooperated too, but that would have meant he would have been lying. Yeah. He doesn't lie. That's the thing. He said in the home where he grew up, he said lying was one of the worst offenses. He says, you won't ever be ashamed of me, he said to his family. And he turned back and said that, and then said, never. That's right. I won't let you be ashamed of me here. Yeah. May 2nd, 2006, Philadelphia Daily News. There is an article here that says, judging the judges, and it says, when it comes to intimidation, the seriousness can't be underrated. So they talk about Kareem Johnson and Kendall Spady were sentenced to spend their lives plus 23.5 to 47 years in prison for murdering children. And they said, yeah, that's fine, and that's all that. They're talking about everything there. Then they talk about Savage getting not getting a life sentence. They said in the audio tapes he was heard threatening to kill a witness's 5-year-old daughter, saying, quote, I'm going to blow her little head off. Jesus. Her little head off.
Her little head off.
Make her pigtails flop. Yeah. Also talking about wanting to inject a prison warden with a dope fiend's blood and watch him die slowly of AIDS. This guy just watched Oz and saw what Adebisi. That's what Adebisi did in Oz.
Yeah.
Which was out. It was already out for years at this point.
Sure,
so he's seen Oz, and he's like, that's what I'm going to do. AIDS needle, pow.
Sure everybody gets it.
Wow. They said witness intimidation has become more significant as the stop snitching mentality. Remember the stop snitching videos and all that shit? That's a big deal. Yeah. Carmelo Anthony was involved in those. That was out of Baltimore, but that's like 2 hours from Philly. So
it's right there.
It's right there. To combat this, the courts have to take any threat seriously, as if the bad guy actually stood next to the witnesses and the barrel of a gun against their temples. If we're going to lodge criminal charges against a father who tells his daughter to lie on the witness stand, we must be as determined to punish and sentence to the fullest extent of the law those who threaten and intimidate. The sentence for Savage is flat out wrong. It makes a mockery of the law and can instill no confidence in potential witnesses, only fear. Now, okay. August 19th, 2007. They say Lamont Lewis. Remember him? He's the guy that was on the phone.
Poppy.
Firebomber there. Poppy Eye.
Yeah.
I guess an informant told Lamont Lewis during a meal at the pub restaurant in Pennsauken on Wednesday that he needed someone killed, and Lewis replied that he was the Iceman. I'm the Iceman.
Oh, boy.
I ice people. So the authorities then arrested Lewis of West Philadelphia, born and raised, when he was driving his blue Jaguar in the city. Don't be flashy or anything. Jesus Christ, man.
Good thing you're under the radar.
Going real low key. He was charged with possession and distribution of crack cocaine, in addition to murder for hire for allegedly agreeing to the act.
Yeah, and possession of a dickhead car.
And being, in possession of a flashy, stupid English car. He's been considered a person of interest by law enforcement in the arson deaths, though. That's obviously there. They said, we believe this is a significant arrest, an FBI spokeswoman said, talking about the firebombing. They say once they have him in there, then they can continue that investigation. They say that he's involved in ongoing involvement in narcotics trafficking, firearms offenses, violent crimes, including murder. They said from May 22nd until his arrest, the documents state that Lewis has been selling crack cocaine to a witness who he thought was reselling the drugs, but really who was just giving them to the FBI. And the witness, according to the affidavit, was provided a recorder to capture conversations and money for the purchase of drugs, which was then turned over to the FBI. The FBI directed the witness to tell Lewis during a meeting on August 2nd that he had a serious problem with one of his drug customers and wanted him murdered. And Lewis said, quote, "You know that ain't no problem.
No, I got
I'm the Iceman."
Yeah, I've been doing it.
Yeah, it's great. The witness gave Lewis a $400 down payment on the killing and was off. Wow. This guy does
$400 down?
Cheap fucking murders, man.
Murder is easier than getting a TV in Pennsylvania.
And then listen to this, too. And I offered to provide a gun and then paid Lewis an additional $200 at the pub. For $600, it's almost worth it to have people killed.
$600
if that's all it
and
costs.
A gun, that's so cheap.
That's so cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, especially if you're on the street and you can like find guns pretty cheap to throw away, hot guns. Holy shit, man.
That's a real one.
That's too real. Cheap. Yeah. Hits need to be more expensive, so at least if people have second thoughts, you go $600, fuck that guy.
Cops wouldn't even go that low.
I can't get a 52-inch fucking LCD for that much. That's crazy.
Cops would be like, don't tell him $600. He's going to know you're a cop.
He's going to know you're a cop. This guy was like, that's cool. That's the going fucking price. So FBI agents served a search warrant on his house in West Philly, and he was there. Or he wasn't there, but they arrested him later. Lewis, by the way, was tried but not convicted in the 2001 killing of Carlton Muhammad Brown. Remember that one? Yeah. Who was found shot at 64th Street and Lindbergh Boulevard in southwest Philadelphia. Lewis is also known to police as an associate and trusted friend of Savage, obviously here. Partially as a result of information provided by Coleman during the trial, Savage is serving his sentence. Savage, they're talking about, this guy's possible involvement in the firebombing here. An FBI surveillance camera, by the way, Coleman lured Tyrone Tolliver into the apartment and shot him in the back of the head, wrapped his body in a trash bag and duct tape, stuffed it into his trunk later on. Okay. An FBI surveillance camera caught the comings and goings from the apartment on tape. Police raided the apartment, known to be a hub of the alleged drug ring. A week later, they picked up Coleman, who then was cooperating, because they had him on video taking a corpse out of the apartment.
Idiot.
And by the way, the FBI let him stay out on the street, even though they just watched him carry a corpse.
A body.
Walk in with a guy and leave with a corpse. And they were like, we'll leave him out there a little longer. I'm sure it's fine.
Him in a minute.
That is also fucking scummy as shit. How about pick him up then, and maybe he won't kill anybody else, you fucking idiots.
Check on it later.
Jesus Christ, man. But they definitely had him dead to rights at that point. Then was the explosion firebombing there. I talk about all of that as well. Mother's Day here, 2009. Savage's daughter, Ciara Cece Savage, who's a student at Ross Elementary School, she's 9 years old, is killed in a shootout in York, Pennsylvania.
Jesus.
Nothing to do with Kaboni Savage, by the way.
Right?
Nothing.
The family just...
Nothing. This is two completely separate gangs having a shootout. Think of Bodie fighting for the corner over there, and that exact same situation.
Hit Kaboni's daughter.
And hit Kaboni's daughter, 9 years old, and killed her. She was killed at 9 by completely nothing to do with him. Which
Random violent behavior.
That is bonkers, man.
That's unbelievable.
Dude, talk about evil attracting evil.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Here's something, too. Imagine that guy knows in Pennsylvania. He knows who that guy is.
Oh, yeah.
And imagine he finds out that Kaboni's daughter died in your shootout. You are praying to fuck that it wasn't you that shot her.
No, you're not, because these guys are all Kabonis. That's the problem.
They're all bad dudes. Yeah,
they're all like, fuck him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck.
This guy is willing to pour Casey Masterpiece on, on a smoldering child.
I mean, that's fucked up, man. So, yeah, they say, then there's the feds say the girl's dad was a violent drug boss, and it's all because first it comes out this poor little girl, and then they're like, her dad's a murderer and a lunatic,
insane,
a fucking lunatic here.
Yeah.
He also said that they call him the head of perhaps the most violent drug gang ever seen in Philadelphia, and then at one point, because he has talked about killing people's kids a lot, too. Another wiretap had him saying, their kids got to pay for making my kids cry, that he's going to jail.
Oh.
He said, I want to smack one of their 4-year-old sons in the head with a bat straight up. I have dreams about killing their kids, cutting their heads off.
This man can never get out of prison.
Never, ever, ever, ever. Number one, because he'll murder us, number one. Yeah. But number two.
But also because he says shit like that.
He says shit like this. He dreams about cutting children's heads off.
That's unbelievable.
And in another conversation, he said, the fight don't stop till the casket drop.
Why is he so mad?
Dude, this is an angry motherfucker. Boxing would have been amazing for him.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. If he would have been temper this, Jesus.
Shit. Well, I mean, he could take it out on people in the ring like Tyson did back in the day, and maybe that would help him. So,
also, that line was from a fucking song, too.
Oh, it's absolutely. The fight don't stop till the casket drop. I mean, that's, who knows? So,
what a dick.
What a douchebag. This is a lot, man. So his own daughter here killed by a drive-by shooting. They said they called it an ironic twist. I would say. Struck and killed by a bullet intended for another man. Rival gangs neither of them had anything to do with her father, didn't even know her father, didn't even know she was anything to do with it.
Kid. Yeah.
Nope. Sierra's mother told the Philadelphia Daily News she moved away from Kaboni while she was pregnant. To get away from violence because she thought it was dangerous.
Keep the baby safe.
She went to York to be near her mother, brother, and 2 sisters. She didn't even attend Savage's trial. She has nothing to fuck. She literally moved away to get away from this shit.
If you've been to York, PA, you know how fucking removed from everything that
it's very removed from shit.
Yeah.
You think, okay, this is good. Nothing will get us here.
Nothing.
He said, we've not been together for 9 years. I've raised my daughters on my own. CC was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
No kidding.
Yes. Apparently, she said that she notified the chaplain in prison because he was in Florence, Colorado at this point.
Oh,
He's
really? Supermax.
There to tell him that Sierra had died. And, so I hate to be that guy. He's going to get yelled at. So York police have issued an arrest warrant for a second person believed to be involved in the shooting, a 19-year-old named Skylar.
Oh, Skylar.
Skylar.
You couldn't have picked a worse career, you idiot.
Idiot. Yep, the police charged him with a criminal homicide and criminal conspiracy to commit homicide. Nigel Ali Maitland, 19, of York, is being held also without bail after he turned himself in. He's charged with homicide as well, and they're looking for a third person.
Nigel and Skylar
had a shootout. Yep. The shooting was in response to, this isn't even, they call it 2 rival gangs, but this isn't over turf or money.
No.
There was a bar fight earlier in the morning in which a Parkway crew member got beat up by a Southside member. So they went and did a drive-by and shot a 9-year-old girl.
Whoops.
Unfucking believe. Now, these guys probably would be terrified when they heard who the hell. Oh, shit.
It sounds like it, yeah.
I don't want to be in the prison system now either. Oh, fuck. So oh shit, barbecue sauce, huh? Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Nice. That's the we just killed. Uh-oh.
Oh my God. Oh, then he went on, by the way. Savage has more. There's more quotes about that.
Oh, yeah?
Them rats, they gotta pay. That's all I think about. They kids, they moms. I had dreams about hitting P daughter in her head, man. Opening her head wide open with 40s dum-dums, man. That's all I dream about.
Why would he?
That's what he said. Yeah. He also said, quote, to another one, quote, another witness. He said this directly to a witness and his young daughter, quote, I'm going to kill everything you love. He said, yep, he's got a daughter down my way. I'm going to blow her little head off. She's like 5. He immediately goes to that.
Wow.
That's fucked up. See, this is what's fucked too about like the society in general. A dude like this back in the day would have been killed by the street. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His own people would have done that shit
Yeah.
to him.
He's just too reckless. He's a fucking liability.
If a mob guy said, I'm going to kill his kids, they would have said, we're going to kill this fucking guy. We're not having that.
Right.
That's too much attention, you fucking idiot.
Wow, that's
and it
insane.
is. That's where the heat comes from. You know, a gangster gets found in a trunk. It's no big deal.
Right.
But 4 kids are burned to death. That's a big fucking deal.
It's not good.
People outside of your neighborhood are going to give a shit about that. Yeah. He said at one point, listen, don't think my kid's going to be the only kids crying. It's going to be some tears from blood behind mine. I'm just telling you, you've been warned, he told one of the witnesses. Mm-hmm. Yikes. That is, that's something else. Then his lawyer, though, has excuses for it. His lawyer said he was just venting.
Is that all?
Yep, he said he'd been in solitary confinement for months with no family contact or outside world contact. He said they pushed him to the brink of insanity and then tapped his cell. Okay. If you treat a man like an animal, you shouldn't be surprised when he starts to sound like one. Most people, no matter where you keep them, don't start threatening 5-year-olds with murder. No. That's not a normal thought. Your brain just, you have to, how much would you have to twist your brain to get it to go there? Never mind have that be your first reaction. I'll kill his kids. Take that. Wow. He also said that Savage denied threatening people to discourage testimony, but he does want them to stop falsely implicating him in things he didn't do. Okay.
Yeah.
Savage, they think, by the way, is suspected of 11 murders at this point.
Jesus.
May 8th.
It's more than that.
Dude, this is insane.
It's got to be more than that.
This is fucking insane. Then May of 2009, they get him on tape gloating over the firebombing deaths.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, they have that now. Yeah. He said at one point, without the witnesses, you don't have no case, no witness, no crime. No witness, no crime. Yeah, he's taking no body, no crime somewhere else here. You're almost there, buddy.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So they're accusing him of ordering the deaths of at least 7 people in a pattern of witness intimidation designed to protect his cocaine empire. They have nearly 100 conversations on listening devices hidden, and they said, yeah, this would make a great one-man show, essentially, if he just said all this shit on stage. That would be fucking amazing. So this time here, they face possible death sentences.
Oh,
him and his co-defendants here. Yep, their kids got to pay for making my kids cry, shit like that. Want to smack some of their 4-year-old sons in the head with a bat. I want to blow her little head off. She's like 5. Uh-huh. All that shit. He says in another conversation, talking about the prison guards, he promised about a prison guard, quote, he gonna die a miserable death and I hope I'm there. I'm gonna torture his ass. I'm gonna set him on fire, alive. Watch him jump around like James fucking Brown.
He's not kidding. He says the worst thing.
And he means it. He's not just talking shit. That's the thing. This is not a rapper who's making up a story. This is shit he's gonna do.
Whew.
Even if a rapper said that, you'd go, hey, calm down. That might be a little far.
Set him jumping around like James Brown?
Like James fucking Brown. I mean, it kind of rhymes, but still. Yeah. In another tape, he vowed to never stop pursuing those he referred to as rats. And that's the fight don't stop till the casket drop.
Yeah.
Move
stop
there.
Till you get enough.
Don't stop till you get enough. Yeah, I don't think he's a big Michael Jackson fan, but maybe he could have. This is a lot, man. Described by acting U.S. Attorney Lori Majid as leader of the most violent drug gang Philadelphia has ever seen. He's charged this month with 26-count indictment where it's violence, intimidation, murder, drug dealing, you name it. And he did it, basically. And it's extra, too, if you, if you use violence to try to intimidate witnesses, it's extra bad.
Yeah.
That's also good. Transcripts of the tapes they're talking about have been made public. They're putting them out there here, basically. Deputy Police Commissioner Richard Ross described him as pure evil at a news conference.
Yeah.
Pure evil. Savage, though, on a tape after that said, I ain't got no regrets for nothing I did.
Good fuck, man.
Nothing. He said there's only two ways of out of the drug underworld for real players, either you dead or in jail. Okay. He says, quote, you accept what you do when you know don't nobody get no free ride, but I do it all over again. I ain't complaining. All right. That is something. Another tape that he just talks about women and how he said that that he should oh, that's right. He referred to women who he referred to as bitches and who he said should all be licensed to carry guns. He said, quote, all my bitches, my little sister got licensed to carry. My wife go and get hers in a minute. You going to be with me, bitch. You got to be my holster. It's just because he can't carry one because he's a felon, so he needs them to carry.
So I need you to hold it, yeah.
He said, you ain't have to worry about no shooting, babe. I'm going to grab it and do what I got to do, but you got to be my holster.
I need you to hold it, yeah.
I need you to hold my shit for me. Wow, that is fucking wild. Savage is going to plead not guilty. His lawyers argued that the new case is replete with double jeopardy issues because it echoes a lot of the 2005 prosecution for witness tampering and intimidation and all that shit. I don't know about that. Savage, that's crazy here. By the way, when he testified, because he did testify, he just said he was angry and frustrated and was venting and wasn't actually going to do any of the things he said on tape. Authorities say, well, he did a lot of the things he said on the tape, which is, that's something. Yeah. And then, wow, that's fucking wild, man. That was goddamn wild. That pit bull was in there. That was a rat in some pit bull's clothing. Is probably the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's pretty fucked up, yeah.
He said a dog was going to testify against me. Please raise your right paw. No, don't shake with me. Don't shake. No, keep it up. You got to keep, no, don't shake.
All those dogs that sit near drugs, those are all rats in dog clothing.
Rats.
Yeah.
Wow. So May 20th, 2009, a third arrest in the Mother's Day slaying here. His daughter, they pick up a third person here who had something to do with this shit. Sure. May 30th, 2009, the murder case continued for two associates who were indicted in April with Kaboni Savage here, so they'll be later. They were granted requests in federal court to continue their arraignments until next year. This is Robert Merritt and Stephen Northington, charged with murder, along with Savage, in the firebombing that killed 6 people and 4 children and a rat dog, apparently.
Yeah.
Merritt and Northington asked for the continuation so each could seek private counsel instead of their court-appointed attorneys. Okay. Kaboni pleads not guilty to this. He's going to plead not guilty. Didn't do a goddamn thing. He's only 36 at this point, too.
That's amazing.
He's still goddamn young. He's in Supermax already till he's, in his fucking 60s. So I don't even know what the hell he cares about. This is, remember Rob Boyden from Drexel Hill, who writes to the editor? Well, he writes in again.
Oh, boy.
The Presumption of Innocence is his title here. This guy. Recently, it was reported that convicted drug kingpin, in quotes, like it's not true.
Yeah.
Wow. Has yet again been indicted by the feds, this time on a laundry list of charges, including his alleged ordering of the 2004 firebombing of a North Philadelphia row home in which 6 people, including 4 children, died. At the time of the murder, Savage was being held at the Federal Detention Center in Philadelphia, awaiting trial on drug charges. The feds also alleged that from his cell, Mr. Savage ordered 2 associates to commit the firebombing. The fact that Savage has been indicted doesn't mean he's guilty. Because he's an American protected by the Constitution, we must presume his innocence. We also must remember that he's entitled to a fair trial.
Sure.
Sure. And then we'll put him in prison forever because he's on tape saying he did all this shit and wants it done. This is fucking wild. So the Philadelphia Daily News does a little in RE, The Presumption of Innocence by Rob Boyden. He gets a letter back from the editor. It says, I wholeheartedly agree with Boyden's assertion that Kaboni Savage is innocent of these new charges until proven guilty. That said, if the horrific remarks attributed to Savage are found to be true, there isn't an electric chair hot enough to sufficiently punish him. If he isn't executed, I sincerely hope he enjoys a year in prison for each of the 121 words in Boyden's misguided defense of this convict's constitutional rights.
Yeah, he's a monster. And
Holy
we
shit.
can say whatever we want after this.
Man, then they're talking about Dawad Bey. They said, inmate charged with witness tampering. Feds want to make sure that Dawad Bey isn't out to make good on threats. In the nearly 10 months before a federal witness family's dying in a rage, what is this? Oh, in a raging North Philadelphia firebomb. Sorry, it's a newspaper. It's hard to read. Convicted drug trafficker Dawad Bey twice sent menacing warnings to the witness Eugene Twin Coleman not to testify at the drug trial. In one threat, Bey, a co-defendant of Kaboni Savage, promised to kill Coleman and possibly his family. Coleman testified anyway, and in spite of grieving for his mother, toddler son, and 4 others killed in the fire bombings. They keep saying it's son, daughter. I don't know which one it is. I've heard it 3 times both ways. His testimony led to the convictions of Bey, Savage, and 2 others in the cocaine trafficking case. Now, 5 years after these threats, the feds took a step to make sure Bey won't carry them out in 2013 when he's due to be released. Whoa.
Hold.
Yes.
Who's
Bey.
getting out?
Bey is getting out in 2013.
He's so bad.
He's not a good guy, Bey, at all. Old wee Bey is here is not good. Jesus fucking Christ. Yesterday, Bey of South Philadelphia was charged in a 5-count federal indictment with conspiracy and 4 counts of witness tampering for allegedly threatening to kill Coleman, Paul Daniels, Craig Oliver, Robert Wilkes, a.k.a. Miami, all drug associates turned witnesses. Bey told an inmate in a recorded conversation, quote, when I get out, I'm going to try and kill every fucking rat I know, dog.
Yeah, I believe him.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. The indictments for him say that in 2004 and 2005, Bey plotted with Savage to kill the witnesses, their babies, girlfriends, and parents to prevent them from testifying. Savage said, these rats deserve to die, right or wrong, and Bey agreed. In a conversation with Savage, Bey recounted telling Daniels, quote, I'm telling you, P, snitching ain't cool. Your ass is on the line. Your life is on the line. What makes you think your kids, your family, are any more important than Savage's? Savage directed Bey to target Daniels' girlfriend and infant, in lieu of his mother, saying, gotta get Tosha's ass, Tosha, and that little bitch he's got. When Savage wanted to retaliate physically against Oliver, Bey agreed, saying, yeah, he need to fuck Craig up. We need a big N-word like him on his ass.
Oh, boy.
Bey told Savage in January 2005, hey, B, I'm going to go fuck one of them N-words up when I get downstairs. Savage replied, so you got to tell the N-word you killing the families. They kids their mothers because they think they going to get out and run down south. They think they're going to get out of here, tell on me, and then just head to fucking Georgia and whatever the fuck. No. Everyone's going to be dead. Last night, Bey's attorney said, I thought these were uncorroborated allegations. I guess the Fed promised all the people a reduction of sentence to get them what they want to hear. That's all it is. Wow. Interesting. May 3rd, 2010, they're talking about it in court that Dawad now is going to plead guilty to conspiracy to tamper with witnesses. Under a plea agreement here, he's already serving the 10-year sentence. Under the plea agreement, he faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, awaiting trial as Kaboni, obviously. So they're going to try to get old Bey to testify here. Bey is not charged with murder or conspiracy in that case, but prosecutors said in plea agreement memorandum that he had conveyed a threat to Coleman, that Bey would kill Coleman, also noting he would kill Coleman's family had they not moved. So there we go. Now, his trial is coming up February 16th, 2010. He wants a new lawyer. And do you know who that new lawyer is?
No.
Himself!
Oh,
that's who. Kaboni Savage wants to represent himself in a court of law.
He's out of his mind. I mean, we already knew that. But
We've heard his toilet recordings.
Yeah.
He's not the most. I can't picture him rattling off legal precedent. I just can't picture it without using the N-word or something. Like, it's probably not going to happen in open court. It's going to be weird. But he wants to represent himself, which is fucking crazy. That's interesting. The lawyer, Warren, who's been saying crazy shit to back him up for years now, said that Savage informed him he no longer wanted him as a lawyer. He said Savage refused to see him when he traveled to New York City last week to visit him at the Metropolitan Correctional Center where he's being held. He said, Warren said, I think this raises serious issues about his competency, pointing out that Savage had been held in solitary confinement for much of his time in prison. He said, I think it's taken a toll. You know, that expression.
Him mad. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, you know who that expression, a person who represents himself as a fool for a client? The Kaboni I know is not a fool, but this is certainly a foolish move on his part.
You bet.
And then his house was firebombed and his children were burned to cinder. No, I'm just kidding, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So now he's going to represent his fucking self in a complicated, this is a complicated case.
Layers.
You need lawyers going over this shit and a whole team of them.
Yeah.
This is not okay to just be like, I'll handle this shit myself. But he is.
Ballsy as fuck.
He's going to handle it himself. He's claiming, by the way, here, before trial, he's claiming that he's not, he wants, also, this is the thing, he wants to represent himself so he can get out of solitary, have more access to all that kind of shit, have access to phones and legal things and the library and everything like that. The U.S. District Judge expressed discontent with him wanting to do that. He said that they left the issue unanswered when answering both prosecutors and prison officials to correct confinement issues that Savage said had limited his ability to prepare for trial. Among other things, he claimed he was denied access to the prison library and has been not allowed outside for several months. Here, that hearing, attended by several family members and friends, ended with Savage's berating the prosecutors and FBI, calling the investigators, quote, Nazis.
Perfect.
And claiming that he was the target of racial profiling. That's what you want to do in front of a jury, by the way. That gets you far. He said, why don't you just lynch me and make your ancestors proud, he shouted as the hearing ended and he was led away in handcuffs. Wow. He's going to do great in court, huh? So here we go. We're going to cut it off right there.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a part 2 with Kaboni representing himself. He's not done doing anything yet, by the way. You think you're going to hold Kaboni down by keeping him in a cell? Fuck no.
Lunatic. Yeah.
He's a fucking lunatic. So that is absolutely what's going on here. We're going to cut it off there, and we will pick it up next week with him representing or seeing if he can represent himself, and then maybe we get to hear Kaboni making an opening statement, which is one of the greatest things I could ever look forward to. I really want that bad.
I'd love it.
I would love that a lot. So that said, thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, definitely give us 5 stars out there. By the way, happy holidays, Merry fucking Christmas, and all that good stuff, man, because this is coming out early. It comes out a week ahead, but regularly it comes out like the 22nd of December. So Merry Christmas. We decided that over this nice holiday, we were going to give you 2 horrible stories, including children being burned to a cinder in their home. That's our holiday spirit.
You really got to.
We did. Remember we did Joe's son for Christmas the one time. Our Christmas episode was like the most horrible rapist ever.
Horrible.
We'll do this time. So there you go. Do that. Give us 5 stars wherever you listen to shows. Follow us on social media. Definitely do that. You can also get Patreon. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports is where you get all of the bonus material. Yep. I mean, you've listened to all the Crime in Sports, all the small town murders, all of Your Stupid Opinions. Well, damn it, we have so much more for you. Anybody $5 a month or above, patreon.com/Crime in Sports. You get the entire hundreds of episodes, deep back catalog, all sorts of shit, and then new ones every other week. 1 Crime in Sports, 1 Small Town Murder, and that includes this week. This week, we're going to talk about, for Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about, it's another volume of bad athlete singing. Bad sports songs. Terrible. I can't wait to get into that fucking Miami idiot rapping. That's going to be fun. There's so many. Macho Man's album we didn't talk much about. We'll get into that. So many things to talk about on this episode. Can't wait. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about remote viewing, which you might go, what is that? Well, that is the CIA spent billions of your tax dollars trying to figure out if they could put a guy in a room and if he concentrated hard enough, he could see shit 10,000 miles away that was happening at that very moment.
Wow.
Like through a window, like basically tried to make a human crystal ball out of people for billions of dollars. Hey, guess
Thank
what?
God for drones and cameras.
Didn't really go anywhere either. Yeah, we don't need that shit anymore. We'll talk about all of that and more. Patreon.com/crime in sports. Get on that and do that. And also with that, you get a shout out at the end of the show, which guess when that is? Right fucking now. Jimmy, hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever burn our children and want to pour Casey Masterpiece atop their charred bodies. Hit me with them right now.
This week's executive producer, Gary Howard, Laura Shin in
Gary.
Denmark, Maida Louisa, and Sam Bam. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Annette Hollywood, Courtney Jadele, and Dr. Rita Miller. Thank you all.
Thank you
so much for what you do.
We
You're
appreciate the hell out of you.
Other producers this week are Peyton Meadows, Liz Vasquez, Jennifer and Dan Ward. Happy 18th anniversary. Janice Hill, Jonathan Braun, Samantha Clark, Mysteries with no last name, Nancy Steislinger, Brandy Lynn Pierce, Richard with no last name, Amy Jenny Johns, or Celia. It's Jenny. That's definitely Jenny.
It's a competitor to Jimmy John's.
I like Jimmy John's subs.
I'm getting Jenny John's.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll eat anything. I'll eat Subway. I don't give a shit, but I prefer like a good deli sandwich with a good stiff bun and, roll, and you know how it goes.
Good buns on those Jenny Johns. Or Celia Prize, Diddy Concepcione? Concepcion. Didi Concepcion.
Oh, Didi. That's better than Diddy. You got to be careful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Mulcahy, Ian Luckett. Ian Keith also. That's two different Ians. That's rare. John with no last name. Corey Neely. Julia with no last name. Alexis Croce. Miranda Oliva. Kiddo Coyote. Michael with no last name. Xavier with no last name. Chan with no last name. Lauren Hunter. Heather with no last name. Stephen Lauder. Amanda Harker. Peter Lafreniere. Neil Poling. Hej Elizabeth Cajoes. That's not right. Patty F.K. Nelson. Also probably not right.
Also
Lynn
possibly.
Capella. Christopher Demars, Brie Bussell, all right, Mucho Macho.
All right,
JKU Alien, Jakku, Amber Fayette, Amber with no last name, Kaylee Hafner, April with no last name, Samantha McFadden, Sean with no last name, Madeline Happold, Whitney Patterson, Pam Parker, Kelsey Drew, Miriam Takiadine, Megan Thompson, Magen. What is that? Megan. It's Megan Thompson.
There we
go. That's what that is. Carlos Edward, Laura.
Their parents did her wrong, though. That's rough.
Yeah, they sure did. They fucked
spelled
you over,
Megan like that. She was like, you fucking assholes. Just spell it
Kate
normal.
Maxwell, Emily Van Chalette, Victoria Lenya, Clayton Bonner, Janice Klee, Brian Herman, Misty Edwards, Kyle Stubbs, Lauren Truck, Costabo Park, Cow's Tub, I don't know.
Cow's Tub.
Coostube, Heather Orozco, Trenton Miller, Britt McPeak, Anne Marie Cooper, Ree with no last name, Jessica Lingafelt, Linja, all right, Michael Johnson, Cheyenne with no last name, Blake Turner, Lauren Farrell, Mackenzie Engler, Mark Linus, Leslie Foster, Sarah Dixon, Kevin Etienne, Lauren Rushing, Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Bakin. That's very
sweet.
funny.
Kevin's bacon.
Yeah, he's bacon. William Wagner, Morgan with no last name, Sea-Witch 555, Kelly with no last name, Kathy Gaskell, Trevor with no last name, Eric Giuliano, Willem Verhagen, Kay Nicole, Nancy Cagle, Luke Robinson, John Gray, Corey with no last name, Jill with no last name, Natalie Arch, Stephen Condliff, Lisa Eisenberg, Alyssa Heberger, Hebeger, Avery Aiden, Candy Brewer, Jadia with no last name, Daniel Pittman, Elise Johnson, Leila, not Layla. Okay. Jennifer Donato, Martha Grigsby, Katie C. Keith with no last name, Nicole with no last name, Gabriel Lucero, Evan Katz, Maya Holcomb, Eliza Hawley, Miranda Davey, Christina Cruz, Elsa Al-Mansuri, A.W., Jess with no last name, Megan Valakis.
At least you got the Megan part right.
Yeah.
You got that
She'd
nailed
rather
this
have
time.
the other way. That last name's no good. Tiffany Skates, Amanda
laugh. Look at
Redfern.
mine. It's worse, probably.
Sarah Delayla, Tara with no last name, Jay's Rock and Roll Stories, Waffle Bros, Rebecca with no last name, Rise 804, T Breezy, Laura Bergard, Amanda Ham, Emily Kittleson, David Talkington, Eric Seuler, like My Cellar Water. Seuler?
Seuler? Oh, okay.
All right. Alice Mouse, Steve Chippendale, Underwhelmed Reader, Melinda Johnson, Jasmine Bond, Jordan Bond, Becky with no last name, Mallory Hakes, Mallory with no last name, Larry Lava King, Jack Skenzel, okay, Sophia Haid, not going to fuck with. All right, Mickey Farrell, B. Moore, Sarah Forshey, Mark Cook, Sydney Olson, Chris B., Aaron Garrity, Lisa Michalski, Amy Williams, Arminda Green, Michael Leftwich, probably Byron's brother, Tatum with no last name, Kelsey Dunlap, Arminda, that's wild.
Like
Tiffany Morris,
type of thing?
Arminda,
Green.
Just like your
your
arm would be in the green.
Two in the pink,
Yeah.
like type of deal.
Arminda,
Like that's yeah.
Wild.
Maybe.
And all of our patrons. You guys are the best, especially Arminda Green.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, so much. You wonderful, fantastic, crazy sons of bitches. We love you, and we love all that you do for us. So thank you so much. Hope you're enjoying the Patreon stuff. And we were going to take Christmas off of this Patreon and stuff, but then we already said we were going to do it, so now we have to do it. Yeah. Even though it's going to be highly inconvenient and everything. So we'll figure it out. We're going to crab them in there. We're going to do it anyway because they're good episodes and we're going to have fun. And we want you to have shit to listen to over your holiday. So,
for sure.
We just wanted to have a life for 5 minutes. But that's okay. Never mind.
Why would we do that?
We'll figure that out some other time, I suppose. Yeah. So thank you so much for all you've done for us. And Merry Christmas, everybody, from the bottom of our cold, dead hearts. We love you. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.